Yesterday, my life was headed in one direction. Today, it is headed in another. You ever think the universe was against you? Fear, belief, love, phenomena that determine the course of our lives. These forces begin long before we are born and continue after we perish.
Our lives are not our own. We are bound to others, past and present. And by each crime and every kindness, we birth our future.
I won't let you go again. I believe there is another world waiting for us, a better world. And I'll be waiting for you there.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
All right, everybody, it's the Outlaw Radio Network for the 27th of September, 2023. Thanks for checking out the show. We are concluding the third quarter of 2023, September. October, November, December are the last 3 months of the. So this is the last show of the third quarter. Unless you're a financial whiz like Lori, the CEO, who's here, then this is the last of the fourth quarter of the fiscal year, which starts anew on Monday. And we'll talk about that, and I'll tell you why we'll talk about that later in the show tonight, because we are still careening madly towards a government shutdown
again.
We'll tell you what it means and doesn't mean in just a little bit. Before we do that, let's introduce you to the panel. We got, of course, K-Dog, Black Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hey.
What's going on, buddy?
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were riding a ferry today, but that's your personal life. We don't need to get into that.
No. Shh, don't tell anyone.
To your left, playing the role of St. Paul is Isaac. Hello, Isaac.
How y'all doing?
Can you give us a St. Paul impersonation? Like, just pretend for a moment you're St. Paul.
Now, how could I do that, Kevin?
What is something you think Paul would say right now? Say it in your best Paul voice.
This will be interesting.
You really expect me to do that?
Okay.
I don't even pay attention to what the guy says.
Damn.
There you go. Best thing ever. All right.
Shots fired.
Lori is here. Lori, the CEO, has made it in studio. She's off camera, but she'll wave to you. There you go. Oh, your face made it on camera.
Look at that. All her fingers.
Your angle was off.
Like a left eyeball.
Oh, there she is. There's Lori on camera. And then Bob Ross is running the board. So hello, Philip.
What's up?
Have you guys been watching the news?
Yeah.
Today? Have you been paying attention to the news?
Depends on
I
what
know.
channel.
Depends
on the channel.
Not seen the news. I've read a lot of stuff while I was riding a boat back and forth.
So here's the deal.
What poop show are you talking about?
I think it was NBC, which is what my mom was watching.
Oh, no. I mean, what topic poop show
Oh,
are you
well,
talking about?
here. So they did this big, long, like in-depth story about crime in Oakland.
Oh, you're talking about the Fox News.
What?
No. This was on NBC where they talked about how
okay.
crime has gotten out of control in Oakland.
Okay.
Oakland, California.
Oakland, California. No, Oakland, Washington. Is there an Oakland, Washington? There's no harbor. In Oakland, California. Yeah.
There's an Oakland, Missouri. That's why I'm asking.
And crime has always been ridiculous in Oakland, California.
Well, now they're saying it's reached new limits in Oakland.
Oh.
There's actual videos now of people stealing cars in the broad daylight. Like, you'll be driving down the road, and someone will pull their car in front of you, so you have to stop, and they jump out of their car, guns drawn, make you get out of your car, and they grab your car, and then somebody else drives off in their car, and they get your car. There's video of women being drug across the street as two obviously masculine men. Way to go, Sparky! Are trying to steal their purse, and assaults in broad daylight, and so not all the businesses, but a huge chunk of businesses in downtown Oakland today staged the shutdown. The businesses said, we are not going to open today. Well, you clap all you want to. I don't think anybody in the Oakland ruling Politburo are going to give two rats' asses if they close for a day. You know, the only person you're hurt. I mean, I appreciate that they shut down. Like, that's a good show of force, a good show of unity, but you got to have more than that, right? Because, you know, the city's not going to miss that tax revenue for a day. And all you're going to do is hurt yourself for a day's worth of earnings. And you're going to hurt your employees because they miss a day's worth of pay. And then you're going to reopen tomorrow and the city's not going to care. The city's going to be like, la-di-da, they're back open again.
But does it start the conversation? Does it start the conversation of, hey, we need more patrols down here. We need to put an enforcement, or emphasis back on law enforcement.
Does it start the conversation? Lori, I love the question. But if you need this to start the conversation,
I know.
If you need, if you have smash and grabs. In fact, there was another one in San Francisco this weekend.
But that's across the bridge.
Again, but another smash and grab where 50 people have now been arrested for going into some high-end boutique store, whatever, knocking out the glass, stealing a whole bunch of stuff, and leaving it an organized flash mob.
I was going to say, like the flash mob thefts I've been
reading
about.
Yeah. So 50 people have been arrested. And you know what's going to happen when they get arrested?
Nothing.
They're going to arrest them. They're going to book them. They're going to release them on their own recognizance, pen into trial. Philip?
I was just thinking, the libertarian bent would be you got to get all the retailers, they get together, form kind of a union of sorts, and they just redirect their sales tax money to their own private security.
What would be the libertarian response to this, Tom, our resident libertarian? What would be the libertarian response? Is it the better armed, better staff police?
Yeah, I mean, Phil's kind of on the same bandwagon I am. I could see that as one solution. The other would just be, arm your staff.
Well, that's the other issue, right? Like you have places like Target, Best Buy, that have their own what do they call them?
Security.
No, they don't call them security. Loss prevention.
Right.
Asset.
Well, it's the same
Right.
idea.
But you're not allowed to stop them or detain them or ask them a question or anything.
See,
Mhm.
that's the problem. You got to give your loss prevention people some teeth. Deadly force? No.
But
Pepper
you have-
spray? I think that's a great idea.
But you have to be willing to open yourself up to the liability that comes with that, right? Because
Mhm.
if you tackle somebody on the way out the door, if you pepper spray somebody on the way out the door, God forbid you pepper spray the wrong person, or
yeah.
some other toddler is in the store, gets pepper spray in their eye, and mom's a Karen and freaks out.
Negative consent.
There's a whole bunch of legal implications that are out there,
Yes,
and
there are.
there's no protection for that.
Yeah,
Like,
there is.
is there?
Yeah, you put signage up that says once you enter the store, you're responsible for your person and any other item that happens.
Yeah, but if somebody's running out of the store and you pepper
Right.
spray them, and little Timmy gets pepper sprayed in the
Right.
face by accident because of how it goes down, that's not little Timmy's fault, and it's not little Timmy's
and you
mom's
take,
fault.
You take care of Timmy and Timmy's mom and take him to the
They
hospital or
will
urgent
sue
care.
Best Buy.
Not-
They will see dollar signs cha-ching, 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 Tom.
So you put up a sign. You know how you walk into a public space like I'm Town Square Mall here.
Yes.
There's signs everywhere that say video recording in progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Video and audio, I noted.
Or does it say
Actually,
audio?
The one
Um,
I saw in the hall downstairs.
That is one sign, but there is no audio recording in
Damn
this
it.
building outside of this studio because
Why are you saying that?
It's a
You're still
Washington
safe.
State law issue. Yeah.
yeah, the Washington State laws. So that was just a prefab
Two-party
sign they
consent
had.
to that audio
Yeah.
recording.
So you've got to sign something
I want that
consenting to
You can't
audio.
consent because there's two-party requirement in the state.
No, I
Right.
know. That's what I
That's
said.
why you can't do it in public.
I want to be recorded.
Although you can record someone, including their audio, if you're there in person. It's
Yes.
a different
Yeah.
recording.
It's totally
Please
different.
record me.
animal.
Record me.
Yeah.
Town Square Mall, you can record me. You have my consent and permission. You may record anything I say in the
Please
confines
no.
of the mall, because the only things that I'm saying in the confines of your mall is about the mall. You should know. Okay, go ahead.
So you put a sign up similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, loss prevention, use of pepper spray, the potential loss, prevention, use pepper spray. You'd have to find some fancy wording for it,
Like McDonald's putting the warning label on their cups that their coffee
Yeah.
may be hot.
right?
Yep.
Oh, that's
know,
not.
I know.
You know that's not really what it was.
Nope, they lost the lawsuit.
They lost
That's
the
why.
lawsuit.
No,
They-
no, but you know the lawsuit wasn't about the coffee's hot. No, the coffee was like 190 degrees. That's not hot. That's dangerous.
Fair enough. I don't know who needs 190-degree coffee anyway, Philip.
Anyway, I was going to say, you know what those greedy capitalists are doing in these crime-ridden neighborhoods and cities, right?
What's that?
They're just
They're
closing their
leaving.
stores. They're closing the stores. Apparently, they have a limit to their greed.
Yep.
I guess so.
Well,
And by greed, I'm being sarcastic.
I know you are.
yeah, but I mean, there's actually no limit to their greed because they're losing more money than they're making with all the theft. So why stay and lose more money? They're packing up and moving.
And they've lost a ton of money off the value of the property, because now the property in those spaces has dropped because retailers don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Coupled with the effects of COVID and what it's done to
Mhm.
downtown infrastructures and small business and all of that. Like the building I work at in downtown Seattle, if you walk within a block of any direction, you'll find more business shops closed than open.
Mm-hmm.
Like back pre-COVID, there was a Quiznos and a Starbucks and an Irish eatery
Mm-hmm.
and some other stuff, and now it's boarded up. UPS store, boarded up. Because no matter what, you still got to ship things. And I said ship, not a bad word, Philip.
And I was going to say, and locally, we're seeing it here. I'm watching my place of work. I mean, last night I had what at first I thought was just, some unhoused person seeking shelter under our awnings. And then I watched their activity until 2 a.m, and it was like really weird. And I
Would
didn't
you
sleep.
leave them there under the awnings? If they were
Well,
a
I
homeless
sought
person?
advice from my boss, and he's like, "Yeah, we got to call the police. We can't have them just think it's a free reign to do whatever they want."
Yeah.
Police finally showed up at 4:30, according to the security footage I checked in the morning. But when I got there in the morning, I'm like, "What's with all the aluminum foil?" And I don't think it was aluminum
Better
foil.
to cook with.
Were they dyeing their hair? Were they doing like foil treatments in their hair?
No.
No, I think they were doing fentanyl. So
Yeah.
I called the health department. I'm like, so this is what I see. What am I supposed to do? Is there dangers I need to be worried about? They're like, nah, they've combusted all the drugs. Just use
Yeah.
gloves. put it in a plastic bag and throw it away. I'm like,
Wow.
oh, thanks.
Put it in the landfill. Great idea. Put it in the landfill where the raccoons can eat it and become morphed zombie raccoons.
Well,
and
they're
then
saying the drugs are gone. It's all combusted.
Coon-nado.
Yeah, but they didn't come check
the
it.
user does not waste.
No,
they may
they
waste
get
away. But
every
they don't
last
waste.
ounce of that meth or that whatever that
Ounce.
is. Yeah.
So then I realized there's a person in this situation. I really am not equipped to help.
Mhm.
I mean, helping them is not, giving them some home for them to trash. That's not going to help them.
No,
The help
no,
they
that's
need is
not at
enabling
all.
them.
How do we help them get off this drug addiction?
Well, and here's the issue, right? Like we've had Holly, in the chat on a repeated basis, and I will say two things about Holly: one positive, one negative. She's positive. She's very knowledgeable about this stuff. Like she knows this homeless stuff like the back of her hand. The programs that are available, the different shelters, how they work, why they work, when they work, all that stuff. She knows her stuff. She's invaluable. The negative is she wastes all that valuability behind anger, snarky comments, and just plain rudeness, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'd love to have her on the show so she can talk about the things she knows about the homeless stuff and the programs that are out there so that maybe we could be better informed, but instead we get snarky crap. And that's the problem, right? The people that are supporters of the homeless, the only responses I can get from them in our chat on this show in any way, shape, or form is, well, everybody needs a home. Well, I'm not debating that. I would love to everybody to have a home. But how do we address the other issues? Well, now you're just turning the conversation into something else. And I'm really not. Like, give them a home, fine. What do you do if you give them a home and they're addicted to drugs and they trash the place, or they turn it into a meth den, or they don't want to accept? Like, we asked Justin several times, what happens if they don't want to accept the services? Well, most of them are going to accept it. I didn't ask you that question. What happens if they don't want to? Can you compel? No, why are you? I'm not turning it into anything. It's a valid question. And they won't answer those questions. Their blanket response is, give them this, give them that, and that will solve everything. And I hate to tell you, Sparky, giving them something solves absolutely nothing if you do not address the underlying issues that led to the point in which they are.
I mean, we've tried giving them stuff, and we just waste that money. We improve bathroom facilities. What do we get? More trash bathroom facilities. They rent motels and turn them into pseudo apartments for the homeless. And what do you get? You get trashed hotels. I mean, there seems to be a constant in all of this. Everything gets ruined.
Yeah, go to the Quality Inn on Kitsap Way in Bremerton, which is one of those hotels that they did that with.
And then that one's run by the Kitsap Rescue Mission. I mean, people who really do care are working hard and struggling through they're working on it.
They're trying to do good work, but here's the deal. So I had my daughter's best friend, her family lived there, and I would go pick up one of their kids because he liked to come over and hang out. And so we go pick him out, and you like to hang out with my daughter. He had kind of a thing for my younger daughter, and they wanted to hang out. So I picked up him and his sister. They came over and hang out, and I go to drop them back off afterwards. And there's people doing drugs on the walkways in the parking lot. They don't care the little kids are around there. They don't care. And again, I'm not pretending that we shouldn't do something to help the homeless, figure out programs to help the homeless. But how and which do you help those who will not help themselves? How do you encourage someone to change when they have essentially screamed from the top of their lungs, F you, I'm not changing. I don't want to change. You can't make me change.
And as a result, circling back to what we're seeing in these other cities, we're seeing it in our own city, in our community. It's just circling the drain. Wheelerville is looking worse than ever.
Yep.
I mean, I was going down to the Burger King downtown on Warren because literally I'm deliberately driving down there partly to see what the show's going on and
to get a Whopper.
And twice I've had to okay, I'm waiting. Your food's still cooking. Here, pull up here, and it's just crazy. And as I'm waiting in line, there's some dude turns their water on at the side of the building, fills a water bottle, pours it on the building, fills water, pours it on the building, pours it on himself, pours it on. I'm like, hey, before I place my order, so you got a guy out here doing this. Oh, let me send someone out there. Is he big and mean? Yes.
Yeah. It is.
But, Wheelerville. What are we going to do?
And here's the problem. I brought up Oakland. Now, Oakland's a long way from Puget Sound where we do this radio show. I totally get that. Somebody is going to be snarky in a minute in the chat and go, well, that's not even in your local listening area.
I mean, it's
Just
starting
go
to
to
turn
Seattle.
into the equivalent of like, I mean, obviously it's not a banana republic, but it's like the same kind of things going on there.
Well, and the problem is it's progressive, right? We can see what, and I don't mean progressive politically, I mean progressive in deterioration. We can see what transpires in these other cities, and we can extrapolate out into what will happen in our backyard. We can see what has happened with the smash and grabs in San Francisco, and it's very easy to extrapolate that into downtown Seattle.
Well-
we can see a rise in violent crime in the streets in daylight in Oakland, and we can very easily extrapolate that into what happens in Seattle if ducks don't get put in a row and if the problems don't get addressed. Huh?
The problem's already here. You know, you were
Yeah.
talking about, the carjacking and stuff,
Mhm.
right? I'm working over in Seattle right now on a project, and
Porn?
yeah,
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
that's why I'm so tired.
The sequel to Debbie Does Dallas as Tom Does Tacoma. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's filmed in Seattle because nobody wants to go to Tacoma. But go ahead.
not even in lieu of Seattle.
I don't even know if people really live in Tacoma.
From what I
Boss
hear, people
baby.
just like
I don't know. She
commute-
doesn't live in Tacoma.
Yeah, she does.
She lives in Point Defiance.
She lives in Tacoma.
Point Defiance is not Tacoma.
Oh, okay.
It might
whatever.
say Tacoma on the mailing box, but it's its own district, right? Point Defiance is like a little gated community outside of Tacoma with armed guards keeping the riffraff out. But go
Are
ahead.
you
Tom.
talking about Ruston?
Oh, Ruston. Ruston's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Ruston is pretty.
That Ruston, area
Ruston
is
used to
nice.
be a smelter.
Yeah.
Come on.
Chambers Bay, where the golf course is, all that area is nice.
Mm-mm.
But you go 5 miles from there.
No, just go like a couple blocks from Chambers Bay. Crime.
Yeah, it's.
Do you know
not
that? Do you know
even-
that
it's not
Chambers
that
Bay
far.
was named after me? Did you know that?
No,
That's
it
true.
wasn't.
True story. Shut up! It was named after me, and you
Nice
your
try.
bite your
Really?
tongue.
Nice try.
They
Shut
call-
your mouth.
They call it Kevin.
No, Chambers Bay.
I like Chambers Bay Distilling.
I've never even heard of them.
Oh, they make
Reminds me of a
they
joke
make,
that
they make good whiskey.
Who's better, them or Heritage?
Oh, Chambers Bay by
Really?
yo.
Yeah.
Really?
I've heard Heritage is like the best, besides Black Ring.
that reminds me of the joke Tom would especially would appreciate. You ever hear the one where the grasshopper walks into a bar and bartender says, "Hey, we got a drink named after you," and the grasshopper says, "Really? You got a drink named Steve?"
Oh, that was
Oh,
fun.
Yeah, Black Tom does the dome. Yeah, exactly.
That's your own wife.
Yeah. Nothing like watching a wife throw her husband under the porn bus, which I believe is a thing on Pornhub, by the way. Check it out.
It might be.
Anyway,
What has Kevin been
I
doing?
don't. I told you guys before. I don't watch porn because it's a waste of time.
It is a waste
If
of
I
time.
wanted to be sexually frustrated, I would just wake up. Okay, I would just get up in the morning if that's what I needed.
There
Yes,
you go.
Philip.
I was going to say, in other news, you see the ruling from the 9th district.
No, don't change subject. We're in the middle of this topic,
Oh, okay.
but we'll get to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in a minute.
Yeah,
That's a good
well,
one.
where I was going with the whole Seattle thing, the gentleman I'm working for over in Seattle right now,
Doing the porn, yes.
doing the porn thing, yeah, had a truck. He got rid of his
truck.
pickup truck because people kept stealing it. Do you know how many times he had his pickup truck stolen?
Oh, constantly.
Yeah, in
Wait, hold on. He had it stolen? I mean, that was your
Three-
problem.
3 times.
Don't have it stolen.
No, you wise ass. Yeah, no, I mean his truck was stolen. Seattle PD returned it to him after they found it, dumped
Oh, it was in
somewhere.
one piece?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
in one
that's
piece.
amazing.
So we got it back. The next day, it was stolen again,
Same
Mhm.
people.
probably.
Yeah.
And this is after they took the catalytic converter out of it and
Oh,
drilled
yeah.
a hole in the gas
Mhm,
tank and
mhm.
drained all the gas out of
Yeah.
it. So I mean, he's several $1,000s into repairing it.
Mhm.
After the third theft,
Keep it.
he just he gave up. He fixed everything. He turned around and sold it at a
Yeah.
loss and
Yeah.
just decided, okay, now you can't steal my truck anymore. I
No.
don't own it.
And listen, here's what the city of Seattle has done. Did you guys hear what they did, right? They've allowed lawlessness to take over the city of Seattle. They've stopped enforcing the crimes. They won't pursue because of this, the state bill. They have defunded the police at some levels, reduced funding. They basically deballed their police department.
Yep.
Vehicle thefts go up, and the city of Seattle responds not with going, "Oh crap, maybe we should fix our police structure, get more cops on the street, get some more mental health training out there, and get back to enforcing law and order." They sue Kia and Hyundai because they say their vehicles are too easy to steal.
That was ridiculous.
Let me see if I get this right.
Oh, wait. Who
Because
else
it's
was
too easy to
join?
steal. It is then permission to be stolen.
Mhm.
That's insane.
Isn't that kind of like
And
telling the
who
girl
else?
her skirt was too short?
It's exactly
Yeah.
like telling the girl
And
her
who
skirt
was
was too short.
who was the state attorney that was part of that lawsuit?
Oh, Sideshow Bob Ferguson?
Yeah.
Yep. You're
Running for governor.
your next Democratic nominee for the
Please.
governor's office?
No,
Do
he
not
will be.
vote for him.
Well, he's going to be the Democratic nominee.
No.
matter
No,
what.
but he will not be the governor.
Well, I'm
He will not be the governor.
just saying he'll be the Democrat nominee no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's nominated. He will not be the governor.
They are
He will
clearing
not
a
be the
path.
governor.
They
He
are
will not be
clearing
the
a
governor.
path to that seat.
I'm putting it out in the universe. It's not going to happen.
All right. We'll check your comments in chat during the Facebook break. For those of you on AM, enjoy the commercials. Patronize our sponsors. That's all I got.
.com.
Hello, Radio. All right, we're on Facebook only, you guys. Feel free to swear.
Fuck yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
Because it's that
Oh, that's
kind
right.
of
Yeah.
day.
Well, yeah, I guess I need to stop saying we're on Facebook and we're streaming only, so feel free to swear.
Mhm.
Or not.
My favorite
We're
FCC
FCC list.
yeah, my favorite song from any movie. Did you guys ever seen Team America?
Oh,
You should not watch Team America.
no, Philip
It's,
would be
Philip, it's
horribly
outside of
offended.
your thing.
He would be horribly offended.
You would be very offended.
Yeah.
But basically, Team America was done by the same people who did. Was it South Park or Beavis and Butthead? One of the two. of them.
No, it was South Park.
South Park.
Yeah, it
And,
wasn't Mike Judge.
but they used dolls.
Mhm.
It was like
And
claymation.
and it's like old school animation with dolls where they move the doll a little bit, take a picture, and that's how
Yeah,
they did it.
like the
motion.
Gumby show.
Yeah, so stop motion.
Like Gumby.
Yeah, and they actually had a scene where the dolls were having sex with each other. It was really tastefully done. But
So did they find out?
what?
They effed around and found out.
Yeah, fucked around and found out. Anyway, but there's a song in there that is where it just goes, America, fuck yeah.
yeah.
It's the greatest song ever. I used to have that as my ringtone, then I realized my kids could hear it. All right. Comments in chat. Debbie said they wanted to charge me $50,000 to send my child to rehab boot camp. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It was marionettes like the Thunderbirds. That's right, John. It wasn't stop action. It was marionettes. That's right. Debbie also said, endanger those they are supposed to serve with. Nope, it's a liability and harmful to everyone around them. I think she's talking about in-store security.
I don't know. That doesn't even show up.
No,
on my
I think
channel.
it's
And
about
Don-
boot camp, sending them to
maybe.
military.
Don said, think it all started when they shut down the state hospitals. I don't know, man. I wasn't opposed to them shutting down the state hospitals because they were so poorly run and the services provided did not serve the need. I mean, maybe they could have kept them open and just fixed the broken model.
Have you been to
hold
a
it.
private one?
No, I'm not suggesting the private ones are any better, but
They're not.
But I'm suggesting that the state hospital system was a much more loosey-goosey way of getting somebody committed. And then they didn't really provide them adequate therapy and treatment. And some people got stuck in state hospitals forever because they weren't treated right. And there wasn't really motivation to let them go. I mean,
But
libertarian, go.
no, no, it has nothing to do with liberty because I don't know what the answer is to this. We're not happy with the way the state hospitals were run. But it's better than what we have right now, which is crazy people wandering the streets.
I got the answer. It's called electroshock therapy. After Outlaw Radio Network, back after this.
Bad.
Philip just gave you the finger. Oh, I don't have a mic.
You do. I heard you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I need to turn my cans up.
Things you hear on this show, you'll never hear on another show. Marionette dolls having sex was really tastefully done.
Facts.
Listen, the mainstream media won't give you these stories. Only here on Outlaw Radio.
So
Gonna critique marionette sex.
I got a brief little story for you. So,
Speaking of marionette sex, Paul's not here. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh.
speaking of Paul, he's still not on our thing. Anyway, can you imagine something happening that's $200,000 an hour?
What?
So
That-
I did the math.
It
Sounds
had-
like
you know,
We had somebody go through our parking
government
lot
nonsense.
for about
So-
2 minutes doing donuts. They did approximately $10,000 of damage. I did the math.
doing
That was
donuts.
that was $300,000 an hour.
Well, hold on. Damage to what? The parking lot?
Yeah,
Or?
I mean just black streaks everywhere across all our white stripes that we just had painted
You
last year.
just had painted.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it's a disaster.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's Class B felony class level, and did the math. 2 minutes of fun, $300,000 an hour. Lawyers aren't that expensive.
Do you guys get the license plate number?
Eventually,
No.
they live next door.
Well, are you serious?
Oh.
How dumb is that? You know, listen. You don't. What is it? You don't piss. You don't pee in your own
Oh,
pool or whatever.
the-
You don't poop in your own yard.
A person who lives next door and works for the neighboring business he's like, hey, when that thing happened, I witnessed it. I got you. Here's where you can find the car.
That's
Nice.
outstanding. Yeah. Well, there you go. Stupid people, stupid children.
Play stupid games.
The conversation in the chat is now Sean giving his Siskel and Ebert about the movie. So, thank you for that, Sean.
Marionette Dookie.
Yeah, Marionette Dookie. I have not seen the unrated version, and maybe I don't want to. 2 marionettes, 1 cup. Anyway,
Sorta.
we're talking about just the state of things, and
Mhm.
and I listen. I don't. Again, Holly's gonna come and chat probably tomorrow when she listens to this show after the fact. She's gonna call us a whole bunch of names, make a whole bunch of unfounded accusations, tell us how uncaring and unfeeling we are, how big of jerks we are, how insensitive we are, how white blessed we are. All of that, and she can say all that. It's okay. I'm used to being hated by hot girls. It's kind of the story of my life. But here's
You make a lot of assumptions.
I do make a lot of assumptions. That's part of the reason why hot girls hate me. But here's the problem.
I don't know what to do with this line of thinking.
I'm loving it. This is amazing.
The problem is there's many reasons why hot girls hate me. That's just one of them. The problem is, in fact, I'm going to ask you guys a question about hot girls in a minute. The problem is that what I would like is some really substantive answers
Two.
to these questions. And I love Justin. He's been a longtime supporter of the show, but even from Justin, I want substantive answers to the questions. How do you answer them? I don't know, but they have to be answered. And if you continue to ignore them, and you respond like with Justin, well, just give them a hotel and give them a home. Well, what about all the other issues we brought up? We don't need to talk about any of those. Those aren't important. Well, no. Off your speakers, we can hear you. If you don't answer those questions, then you don't solve any problems, and you just repeat it. Hello, Paul, calling from the palatial St. Paul Estates barnyard and whorehouse. What's up, buddy?
Damn, dude. Whorehouse?
Right?
What's going on, buddy?
I mean, I was ready to talk about you and your marionettes.
I'm here for this.
Have you seen Team America, Paul?
Which is like, so what's hanging?
Yeah, a few times, but it's been years.
Okay, it's a great movie. It's actually a movie I've seen that you've seen. That might be a first.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time.
By the way, I do want to let everybody know, 59 days. Is it 59 days now till we can do the show without pants on? Yeah, 59 days, Paul, till we can do the show without pants on.
Well, I can F and change that in a hurry.
That's right.
Oh, don't do that.
You could.
I need an excuse to buy a kilt.
Outstanding. I'm just gonna
Regular
be
or
in here.
utilikilt?
Oh, utila kilt.
I'm just
Absolutely.
I'm gonna come here in my boxers. I don't care. Be comfortable.
I'm going to be comfortable too. You
All's
know how
out. All's out. Balls out. What's
yeah,
up?
You know how to wear a kilt, right?
No, I assume. Yeah, you just. Yeah.
There's a right way and a
There's
wrong
no
way.
as
there's
Roddy Piper said, you never wear underwear under the kilt.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's the right way to wear a kilt.
Walls
But
out,
you
balls
wear
out.
deodorant down there.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with that. How you would know that, Lori, is beyond me.
Because I have sons, and they
And
actually
I don't want to know how
think
you need
about
to
the
know that
last
they need
name.
to wear.
Think about the last name. We have tartan. We've picked out the tartan that belongs to the family name, and kilts and all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Paul, did you hear the conversations we were having earlier about the situation in Oakland and a little bit about San Fran and kind of the overreaching arc into what we should expect to see in the greater Puget Sound region?
No, apologies, I did not. So
Well, thank you for
I
the
was,
contribution.
I was working on the roof, so which is why
That's
I'm
okay.
home tonight.
All right, we'll switch topics then. Since you're here, we'll get into a new topic
Okay.
rather than rehash the old one. I've got a quick question.
Mhm.
No, never mind. I'll do it later. I don't want to do it right now.
Let me ask you.
Start. Yes, go
what
ahead,
were
Paul.
What were you saying that you wanted some? You wanted answers to some specific questions. Is that what you were saying earlier?
Well, like we had talked before, when Justin called in last week and the week before, we talked about this homeless issue, and Justin's response is always, "Well, give them homes. Everybody needs a home. Everybody should have a home. Nobody should own a home for profit. Blah 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 blah." And our response has always been, "Well, what do you do to the people who abuse the homes? What do you do to the people who won't take the homes? What do people do to trash the homes or use the homes as a drug den, or all of those things?" Like the idea that we just should give them a home is nice and wonderful until you start asking the side questions that have to be a part of the discussion. And Justin's response was always, "Well, now you're talking about a different issue, or you're sidetracking, or they don't do that, or that's a rare few, but the answer never came."
Well, and why does everybody want the government to be their daddy? I mean,
stop using that word.
It's true though.
Between that and the word moist.
I like the word moist.
I would say, it's one of the things that makes that conversation difficult is because you and I, Kevin, have talked about this issue many times over the years. And, it's the people who want to talk about that issue that are never the first ones to raise their hand and say, "Here's my $100,000 check." Ever.
Yeah.
They're never willing to say, you got 6 homeless people, they can come live in my house with me. That's not what they're doing. I don't know how to say this without making it sound weird, but it really wasn't. But we discussed this issue, and years ago I knew a young lady that I had dated in high school. And I knew her parents were homeless. And this was back in like 91, 92. And so I thought to myself, I said, well, she was homeless as a kid, as a teenager. Then I dated her. She was in foster care. I was like, I wonder how her life worked out for her. So I went and looked her up on Facebook. You know what I found out? It was in the first line of her feed. 2nd generation homeless. She's still living on the streets, still homeless. Yeah. She's my age. And those are the kinds of things that make me scratch my head, because there are far too many choices we can make that'll allow us to take our life in a different direction. Like when you are bragging about this idea, right? That you're, or just stating it maybe factually, right? I'm 2nd generation homeless. I don't know that that's something to brag about. And if you feel that that's something to brag about, then should I be handing you a house? Really?
Yeah.
Should I be? Because I don't really think you're going to have the same appreciation for it that whoever paid for it did. There's just this mentality in some people. They want to be separate from society. And that's what I think that's a lot of people that are homeless by choice. Mm-hmm. They don't want to live their lives under our social order. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I actually don't judge them poorly for that. If they are so much wanting to live life on their own terms, good for them for having the courage to just go out and do it. But at the same time, don't ask me to cut a check.
Yep. I think that's a good example of the deeper issue here.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seems like a clash of cultures, right? So start big picture. Where our country is pretty well split, right? Between liberal and conservative. But if you look at the people that are liberal, most of them live in urban areas. They're in cities and live more of an urban lifestyle.
Cities
the
and
folk-
suburbs. You bet.
Yep. And the folks that are conservative tend to be a little more rural. And those two cultures don't understand each other. And just with that, right? Heck, the Second Amendment conversation. People who live in the city don't understand the need for a firearm in rural areas. So therefore they just blanket statement the whole thing, guns are bad.
Yeah. You say they don't understand the need for a firearm in urban areas either.
Well, yeah. We could say that's actually a problem right now. But again, the firearm conversation, it's cultural, right? So if we take a look at the homeless issue, people that are chronically homeless that choose to be homeless for whatever reason, they want to be homeless because they like it.
Mhm.
They're homeless because they have mental health issues. They're homeless because they have addiction issues. It doesn't really matter. They're chronically homeless. And if they have kids, that's what their kids are learning. That's what their kids know. You can't grow up outside your culture. Not without some exploring as an adult and getting away from the culture that you've been raised in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think those are very valid. It's absolutely, I think a completely valid perspective, Tom. God bless you for finally giving us a real perspective on something. I truly appreciate that.
Well, wow, funny man.
From a libertarian at that. I mean, isn't that amazing?
Well, I'm thinking of it more like an anthropologist right now.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting perspective, Tom. Which is, I appreciate that side of you more than I appreciate the libertarian side
of you. No, the libertarian side of me is just a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah, just the libertarian side of you. Sure. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I don't have any answers to any of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it bewilders the mind that we've had Section 8 housing for decades. Mm-hmm. We've had welfare programs for decades. We've had food stamp programs for decades. We've had housing assistance programs for decades. We've had low-income grants to purchase a home for decades. None of those things have made a dent in the real issues that we're running into.
They're not going to.
Right,
because they're creating another culture.
Well, it's not even that. The true issues right now, my opinion, the true issues right now are addiction, mental health, and massive inflation in the housing market.
Mm. Yeah, education. Education.
Education.
No. Education. I'm not talking academic. I'm talking about people who don't have anyone to guide them with their finances, guide them on how to open a bank account, guide them on those things, how to file their tax returns.
Some financial literacy.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even just social
literacy. But again, I think the three main issues are addiction, mental health, and severe inflation of the housing market. And so all this other stuff that we've done does nothing but make it worse. I agree
with you, Kevin, by the way. Just want to tell you that. I agree with you. Those are absolutely, yeah.
And what we've done, by the way, by supplementing rent and supplementing Section 8 and supplementing housing costs is we have added to the inflation.
Well, and we've perpetuated that culture too. Mm-hmm. And there's that culture of relying on, Big Brother to look out for you and take care of you and watch over you.
Yeah.
Because all of those have strings. You can't earn X amount of dollars, otherwise you're kicked out of your housing or whatever you're using.
But even that though, if you start putting government money into the system, it does what? It creates inflation.
Yeah.
It makes everything else cost more.
Right.
So when you're giving all this Section 8 money or you're giving all this free housing to apartments or whatever, right? So let's take Bremerton, for example, okay? Yeah. So Bremerton has, in that end of Bremerton, three major, I call them major. This is Bremerton. They're really cracked ends. But four major hotels on that end of Bremerton. From whatever the old Howard Johnson used to be up by the cemetery, to Super 8, to Flagship, to Comfort Inn. Okay, those four.
And don't forget Oyster Bay.
Oh, in Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay.
Oh my God.
Motel 6, the old dunes.
I think. Oh, is that even still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, over by.
They rebuilt after the explosion.
Okay, that's right. I was at home when that exploded. I lived like 5 blocks from there.
Over by Denny's.
Wow, we felt that.
Oh, I
No,
remember.
that's Super 8.
Oh, okay.
But here's the issue. You have now taken a large hotel and removed it from the market. Okay? There are now less hotel beds. What do you think all those hotels can do now? They
Charge
can all
more.
charge a little bit more because there's less supply with the same amount of demand.
Wait, you're talking about capitalism working?
Well, but again, the capitalism is not working because it's government dollars. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. Capitalism works for those other hotels, but for the system, it's government dollars dictating the market, which is not capitalism.
Kevin,
Well,
I have a solution.
Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this libertarian moment brought to you by Black Ring Spirits. A reminder, if you drink enough, you too can be a libertarian. Tom?
Well, you just said it, though. You're agreeing with me. Deregulate it all.
I'm not saying deregulate it all, but I am saying that at some point people have to be smart enough to acknowledge that the road that you're traveling down, that you've been traveling down for decades, is not a road that works.
Deregulate it.
I don't think deregulating makes sense either, because if you take the government completely out of it, then you'll have a whole bunch of lousy human beings doing lousy things to people because they can, because there's no regulation.
Oh, okay. Here we
Smaller
go.
government.
We've
Smaller, smaller I will take.
Okay. Look, we have to look at the libertarian idea
Smaller mail order brides while we're at it.
as a spectrum,
Yes.
right? I don't know what to do with that.
I wonder. I'll get the brother.
I'm so random. Go ahead, Tom.
Talk
So
about
I
being
mean,
a minarchist.
no, and so okay. Look at politics, right? We talk about the left and the right, liberal and conservatism. Right. So how about if we take the whole political idea, and this is something that DT shared in the chat a long time ago, and I don't know if anyone looked at it but me, because it made sense to my libertarian brain. So instead
Tom, Paul, are you taking notes for this?
No.
So imagine draw an X a cross on a piece of paper, right? So we've got a horizontal line and a vertical line. So your horizontal line is your political affiliation, being liberal or conservative. You're going to fall in there somewhere, right?
Yeah, the line right here. Right?
Yep.
Right
Yep.
there,
And then you have a vertical line, and at the top of that line is authoritarianism. So if you go
Hitler, Stalin.
at the top of that line, you've got communism and
Hitler.
and fascism.
And Paul's marriage. Okay,
Right.
good.
And
All
at
right.
the bottom of the line, you go all the way to the bottom of the line.
I'll hit him for you, Paul.
You've got anarchy.
Good.
Anarchy, my
Yep.
social life. Okay,
Right.
perfect.
So if you move, at the bottom of that line, that spectrum is the bottom of that vertical line is libertarianism. So you've got authoritarianism at the top, you've got libertarianism at the bottom, and you're going to be on there as a spectrum somewhere.
Yes, Kevin is on
So
the
in this case,
spectrum.
on the spectrum is good.
Yes.
Okay, just checking. What
Yeah.
was that, Paul?
I said Kevin is definitely on the spectrum.
I would suggest that government needs to be smaller and
Yes.
has to stop trying to compete with corporations.
Yes, further down that line.
Right.
That
But what
vertical
I'm
line.
saying is government fancies itself in a lot of different ways as a corporation, and they need to stop.
Knock it off.
Yeah. They need to go back to
Hey.
government.
Oh,
Hey,
look
I
at
don't-
that. Philip
Yeah.
just created that. Look at
There-
that.
Nice.
Look at Philip being all creative back there.
There we go.
The hell is that?
Oh, wait. Sean just got a comment for a Facebook warning for a comment he made in chat. I need to go look and see what that comment was. Hold
Uh-oh.
on.
What'd you say, Sean?
What did Sean say?
It's the marionettes. Dookie, I bet.
I don't think it was.
I think it was
Oh,
the problem is too
too
few
few
guns,
guns.
not too many.
Why would Facebook tag him for that?
Because it's
Because he got zucked.
second
We get away with a
Amendment.
lot.
Whatever. Zuck can zuck it. Zuck it, Zuckerberg. Yeah. That's some good stuff right there. Look at that. All right.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I didn't make anything.
Well, but still,
Watch out,
we have our
Heather.
own graphics department now. Before you know it, we'll actually be using something other than dial-up.
we could put away the flannel graph.
Are we going to get one of those telescribblers like the
Oh my
NFL
God.
uses?
That would be so awesome if we had that.
Telescribble.
We need other equipment first.
Make up your mind.
Priorities.
You make up what you want, and I'll make up what I want. Thank you. If I had a telestrator like they have on the NFL games, I might start watching porn because that would make it a lot more interesting. I might goes left and goes right. And here's some pressure and throws it away and look at the coverage. All right. Anyway. Sean said no was a warning label comment, and I wonder if they took it out of the chat because I don't. Do you guys see a warning label comment? I want to read it because Zuckerberg doesn't want us to read it.
I didn't see anything about it, but I've advocated for removing warning labels for a long time.
I just think warning labels are stupid, man.
Yes.
Like, if you don't know by this day and age that smoking's bad for you, putting a big black skull and crossbones on the pack of cigarettes is not going to make a difference.
Yeah, let Darwin work.
And you'd think the extra price would be dissuade people, but no, it doesn't.
Oh, so
it was that first
Sean
sentence.
posted it. Sean posted it again.
Yeah.
Sean posted again. He said, I'm not saying we should kill all the stupid people. I'm just saying let's remove the warning labels from stuff. That's what got me the warning. So he posted it again. Good job, Sean. See you after your 30-day ban.
We'll miss you, Sean.
And we'll miss you.
There's Rumble, Spotify,
YouTube.
you
can still watch us on Rumble and Spotify.
Nah, he'll just text me directly.
I mean, in some ways, you need warning labels, right? Like I do, in some ways, warning labels make sense if it's new, if it's something they may not have experienced before, if it's a new technology. If
I'm okay with warning labels for areas. You know, this area is dangerous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But do we really need to say, like Phil was talking before the show, this cup of coffee is hot?
I don't have an issue like that. If I don't have an issue with it,
that wasn't the issue.
I know,
but we're just using these examples.
That's the example.
I don't have an issue with a warning on cigarettes if you want to put a warning on cigarettes. But why would you make it so they have to lose a huge chunk of their branding to force them to tell people something that they already know?
Do you know how much
that's their packaging, that's their brand? I don't smoke. I've never smoked. I ain't never gonna smoke. But that's their branding. That's how they present themselves to people. Like nobody thinks it's healthy.
Do you know how much bureaucracy goes into those stupid warning labels?
Oh, I know, because they have to be approved.
Yeah, I every bottle of liquor that I produce, the label has to go to the ATF, and there's this little branch of the ATF that has a COLA certification, online label approval, and it's stupid.
This is why I can never work for the ATF, because my approved disclaimer labels would be stuff like "F it, get drunk."
Perfect.
That'd be the label for me.
Don't drive.
I guess maybe we need to start airing a disclaimer at the beginning of the show.
I
Viewer
try to.
discretion is advised. What do you think? Viewer discretion. We'll get that. We'll work that into our intros.
Somebody already uses that for their podcast show.
I don't care. We'll use it for ours too. I mean, I'll just rip it off of the
Although
ABC.
It's also known as the following program.
Yeah.
And the viewers are known as the following. It's the following's program.
Oh, okay. I think we should. Paul, do you think we need a disclaimer for this show?
Absolutely not.
No.
But I mean, I'd say that it can't hurt anything, but it could hurt.
What if we did a funny disclaimer?
Remember back when 4 out of 5 doctors recommend camels? Maybe we can get that kind of 4 out of 5 doctors recommend
an enema.
Outlaw Radio.
4 out of 5 doctors recommend Outlaw Radio.
The other one recommends it.
We do have that in our John Wayne opening, which is kind of cool. We have an opening that I did years ago that has John Wayne introducing the show, and so he's talking about the show, and he kind of does a reverse, warning label. I'm here to talk about these guys. They're adult.
He was a huge fan of this show back in the day.
Yeah, right before he came back to life as a zombie. Did you see the picture I posted? I got a, for those that don't know. So Kevin and I used to have a mutual friend. He was the owner of the Blue Jackets. Mr.
Oh,
Rick
did you
Smith.
get one of those scams? I did too.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm like, holy cow, Rick, haven't seen you either. And then my next message was, since you died.
He didn't die.
Dude, when they're a scammer, they don't know that.
Oh, I know. So I played along with it until they told me about the federal program or whatever. And then I
Right.
told them, you do realize I'm a federal agent and I know better. And they haven't replied. That's my
they're
response to
getting pretty
everything. I'm a federal agent. I know better. And then
I
they
had
go
this
away.
guy. I had this guy call me this morning at 7:15 about my Medicare and Medicaid. I'm like, dude, I know you're a scammer. No, I swear, we know scammer. We know scammer. I said, I know you're a scammer. He's like, no, why do you think we scammer? First of all, I'm on the no call list, dip. And then third, it's 7:15 in the morning, Pop Tart.
The no call list, aka the list to call.
Yeah. You're not allowed to call at 7:15 in the morning, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah. Hey, I'm going to ask this question in 2 minutes. And this is really for Holly's benefit. But I really want to call Holly out for something. Because, she's co-opting, she's a big Taylor Swift fan, obviously.
Okay.
And I think she's racist.
Taylor Swift?
No,
Or
I
Holly?
think Holly's racist.
Why?
Taylor Swift is basically co-opting black music, black influence music. She's a rich, pretty white girl, and so Holly's racist because she supports.
Elvis did the same thing, and so did the Beatles and the Doors.
I know. But I just
Okay.
I want to take a
Okay.
swipe at Holly because she says the same thing about us when we support anybody who does
Okay.
anything if they're
Got
white,
it.
we're racist. But obviously, Taylor Swift is culturally appropriating what used to be black music and using it to make herself a billionaire.
Right.
And clearly, Holly's a racist.
I have obviously not listened to any.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift in a
I'm
while.
not finding that correlation at all.
I'm missing it. It's very.
It's a stretch.
Poppy.
Very
last time I
pop.
heard it.
Did you bump something over here?
Sugar pop is what it is.
I didn't touch it.
Getting some
Talk right in
kind
your
of
microphone.
Yeah, my microphone all of a sudden is
Yeah, we got
very
real echoey.
intense.
Keep talking, Lori.
Hello.
Yeah, whatever it is, that's better.
I fixed it.
Well, my
a trained
microphone is just fine. Thanks for asking.
I'm a trained professional, folks. Don't try this at home. All right. We're up against break. Paul, do you have a topic you'd like to launch into next hour? Or do you want me to bring up one?
No, you can. Well, I
Please,
mean,
Paul. Please, Paul. Please, Paul.
Shut up.
We don't want to go back to marionette sex.
yeah, no, please, no. Because
Did it
Kevin's
all
the
for the
first one
dookie.
to stand up and say,
Dookie.
"Why you got to talk about my single life? Why you got to talk about how many women I'm dating at one time? Things like that." And he always gets upset at me. So
How
I'm not
many
allowed to
women
have
am I
those
dating right now,
conversations.
Paul? Paul, how many women am I dating right now?
Dude, no, I'm not answering. That's a trick freaking question.
Really,
Really.
how many women do you think I'm dating right now?
4.
Like
don't know.
you want
I
a
have
serious
no idea.
answer? You want me to legitimately answer that? Because normally you are up
What is
my
dating?
Up. Time for break.
Backside.
Outlaw
Yeah.
Radio. We'll be back right after this here on Mega Talk.
Four women.
Shut up. Take the under.
Dating or talking? Oh. 5,534.
That's a
I'm
lot
gonna-
of work.
I'm going to read that. We have more than 6,000 followers on our Outlaw Radio Network Facebook page, by the way.
I
We
thought
do.
were
We
up
have
to 20,000.
millions.
And
And millions!
There it is.
Let me read this to you. Ready?
My name's
Oh, yeah, I have that ready to play, will you? I'm going to read this from CNN. I had to say this for a top of the hour. We're not really going to talk about it. I just think it's a great story. And I'm going to quote this off of CNN because they are always right about everything. If Hans Niemann had hoped to put an alleged cheating scandal behind him, the chess grandmaster's interview with Piers Morgan on Monday might have scuttled that wish. Niemann has reportedly denied cheating in over-the-board chess. But speaking on Piers Morgan Uncensored, the 20-year-old addressed specific accusations, ready? That he cheated using vibrating sex toys. Allegations that emerged from social media, although it's not clear who originally made the accusations. While he was pressed by Morgan if he had used such toys while playing chess, Neiman replied, "Well, your curiosity is a bit concerning, you know. Maybe you're personally interested, but I can tell you no. Category no, of course not." He's been accused, and I don't. I've read through the interview, and I can't understand how somebody could use vibrating chess toys or vibrating sex toys to cheat in chess.
I'm totally missing the connection there.
I don't either.
I don't.
I'm just trying to is there like a purient interest to winning chess? I mean,
I don't know.
how's this work?
Well,
We might need some marionettes to explain.
I
I
love chess.
Now, you said it was above board or on board chess or something.
Now,
Doesn't sound like it was above board.
I suppose if you were to drop a vibrating toy on a chessboard, all the chess pieces would vibrate off the board.
but again, you're
I don't know. And that's all I got.
okay. So this is so bizarre. I found a website at ladbible.com
Okay.
that talks about how people could use anal beads to cheat during sex, and I'm totally afraid to read it now. So I think I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. I'm just going to say CNN needs to.
That's a hole to stay away from.
That needs to. Is it a vibrating hole? Is the question. Paul,
Kevin.
what do you think about this conversation,
Depends
Paul?
on the rabbit.
You're being very quiet, Paul.
Yeah, I'm not touching it.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on anal beads and chess, Paul?
Not with Kevin's penis and Tom pushing.
Is anal beads and chess? Is that a major major thing that Congress should get involved in? Do you think? Do we need more legislative oversight in the use of anal beads in the chess world?
I don't understand how those two relate to each other
at all. And I don't want to read that article either. Let's just be clear.
There's not even 6 degrees of separation there. I mean, there's way more than that.
It's on the front page of CNN's website. Like, that's how far they've slipped. I don't know. Any thoughts, Paul? You want to talk about anal beads and chess?
No, I was actually just reading a story out of the Jerusalem Post that biblical sin city of Sodom they have determined was destroyed by an asteroid that was stronger than a nuclear explosion. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a good article.
Which then again further proves the existence of God. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Las Vegas
I'm sure
1.0 didn't make it, so Las Vegas 2.0 is going to get hit by an asteroid someday.
I better not be there.
So, Kevin, you ever see the paraphrase on how that whole biblical story worked?
Mm-mm.
God and the angels stop by and see Abraham. Then they're like, no, go to see my cousin Lot or whatever, nephew or whatever. And so they go there and they arrive to Sodom, and the people of Sodom are like, how you doing?
Whatever. All right, we're coming back on AM. This is the Outlaw Radio Network, a presentation on Megatalk. We're back after
Holy
this.
crotch muppet, man.
Crotch muppet.
What?
We went from anal beads and chess to crotch muppets and fornicating marionettes. This is a great show.
I'm going to have to borrow that crotch muppet
Crotch
term.
muppet.
That's pretty good.
St. Paul, the voice of crotch muppets. Perfect.
10 seconds.
Back after this on Megatalk.
Outlaw Radio.
I don't think she
Crotch
was
muppet.
turned to salt.
Good evening. My name's Wayne. Some of you may have seen me before. I've been kicking around Hollywood a long time.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
Because I think it's the best thing of its kind that's come along. And I hope you'll agree with me. It's honest, it's adult, it's realistic.
Outlaw Radio, thanks for checking out the show. One more hour to go. Reminder, we'll be back on Sunday night from 8 to 11 on Megatalk. You can find us on Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, AOL Instant Messenger. I don't know. It's not even a thing
I
anymore.
was going to say, remember like ICQ or
I was
Trillium?
just going to say that reminds me of ICQ.
Oh my
which
God,
I think
whatever
is
happened to
dead.
Trillium.
ICQ? Whatever happened to ICQ? Is it gone?
I don't know. They found it.
Oh,
ICQ, and they found us, and they
ICQ, you see me. Okay.
now ICQ on their ham radio.
or was it IRC? That was another one.
IRC chat. Yeah.
Yeah, IRC chat.
Yeah.
Usenet.
IRC's still out there, by the way,
Oh yeah.
because I used
They
to
still
use it
exist?
to illegally obtain music. And then I found other ways to do that. Not that I would do it anymore.
Like
Remember-
LimeWire.
I don't.
Remember
Lime.
Usenet?
I still hate Metallica over all that crap.
We used to get our stuff off of TSCnet.
No, I was a big LimeWire fan back in the day.
Yeah.
This segment on music piracy brought to you by Black Ring Spirits.
No,
Nothing
Black
says
Tom.
nothing says a great night to get drunk like listening to bootlegged Metallica music. All right, Paul joining us by video from the St. Paul Estates. We got K-Dog, Black Tom. Lori's around here somewhere, but she vanished. And Philip is on the board.
we're talking about anal beads, dude.
that was the last segment.
She had to leave and go find hers.
Yes, exactly what I was going to say. She had to go get hers.
The last segment. Oh my god.
Oh, really?
If you just tuned in, or if you were on AM and missed the entire conversation during the top of the hour news, sucks to be you. Anyway.
You missed it. They were not on.
Well, I can catch them all up in 10 seconds. Kevin wants to know how many women he's dating, and then he had to have a conversation about his anal beads. There you go. They're up to speed.
Oh, that's what Paul. That's Tom why he's laughing now.
I hate you, Paul.
Nobody else got it.
Shut up, Paul. Hey, Paul. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about this on Sunday. The second Republican debate is tonight. Hosted
it is.
by
I was listening to it before I came and got on air.
Oh, good. Okay, so
me too.
It's it basically has all the Republican frontrunners and then Asa Hutchinson, who doesn't have a shot in hell,
and not Trump.
Oh, and who's the other guy? The governor of North Dakota, who's in there as well. I don't remember.
Doug Burgum.
Yeah, he doesn't matter either. I mean, he might be a
Burgum.
nice enough guy, but he's got no shot.
It was a joke.
What did you pull out of what you heard? Anything? Did you pull anything out besides anal beads?
People were getting pretty personal in attacking Vivek Ramaswamy. They were getting some real personal attacks. Mike Pence was. Who else was? Haley. Haley was really attacking him. They were basically attacking him and basically saying that, he's not ready to be president on day one. And, he's just too youthful and ignorant, basically. And all of his ideas are representative of that. But I will say this, he brings something to the conversation. He's sitting there on stage talking about how all the people on stage are good people. None of them could wait to take a bite out of that poor kid. So it was fascinating. It was fascinating to me. His ideas may not be as good as some of theirs due to their experience, but he displayed better leadership skills on that stage than most of them. So, and that comes down to the personal questions we each have to ask ourselves when we go to vote. You were talking earlier about and she displayed some. Yep. I swallowed a leftist. There was a comment made, only one on last week's show, and it was made, Kevin, right after you were talking about how we were voted the best radio show / I don't know, whatever that BS word is that people like to make
podcasting
up
in South
Kitsap. That's what people call themselves. So of course she
Today,
could
South
not
Kitsap,
hold off
tomorrow
when
the
she
world.
heard you say that. She heard you say that, and so she had to go into full on tipped over left attack dog mode, right? And she gave the shortest response I've ever seen from her. She said, "Sure, Kevin, that's great. That's like being the best Kevin Chambers in Port Orchard."
That's what she came back with. I don't even read her comments anymore.
That was so original. That was so well. I go through and I read them all, and I go back. I listen to the show, so I watch everything. Which again, for the 7,412th time, everybody should do that. That works at this radio station, so we can all hear how to improve and do better. But I digress. My apologies.
I listened to the show. Hold on, let's be clear. Since you're taking a shot across my bow,
yeah.
I listened to the show, but I don't watch.
No,
the
it wasn't at all.
Because
are you feeling sensitive about it?
No, I just want to be clear
about it.
Just want to feel clear that
I don't know if you listen to it or not.
Shut up, Paul.
I have no idea. Hey, I got a question for you. Do you think that bit in the Bible? So if Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by an asteroid, as the biblical scholars are now claiming, and the archaeologists and paleontologists working in the Dead Sea. If it was destroyed by an asteroid, do you think Lot's wife really turned to salt? Don't answer that question. We can't really answer that question.
Lot's
So
wife
it's
didn't
okay.
die at
I just thought I'd throw
Sodom,
it out there.
right?
Or who
Did she?
who turned to salt?
She was told not to look back. Leave Sodom, Lot. And
Yeah,
his
don't look
family.
back.
Yeah, but she
She
wasn't
looked-
at Sodom.
yeah, she
she had
looked
left
back.
Sodom, so
She looked back.
Yeah, but she was not at Sodom
She
when
looked
she looked
back.
back.
She was not at
You-
Sodom. Like, we're not in Port Orchard. We're in the county. Come on.
Yes,
She was
Oh.
at
Phil's
Sodom
totally
in
right.
the area.
Yeah,
She turned to salt because the
Phil, I
Bible
think-
said so. I don't question the Bible, Paul. You shouldn't either. Jesus will strike you down.
Oh, I question everything, and I'm not telling you to, but I question everything.
I wouldn't worry about
Have you-
Jesus. I'd worry about that angel with the donkey. That was Balaam.
I'd worry about Lori and her anal beads. But go ahead.
Did she find him?
Excuse
She
me.
I
sounds
hope
like
so.
somebody that she'd keep hers polished.
Hanging from her rearview mirror in her Subaru.
Good Lord,
Subaru.
she's got that Kamala Harris laugh going in the background.
Ah,
Not.
I don't even want to know.
Hey, so I heard an interesting debate, Kevin, and you are our resident constitutional scholar.
I am a constitutional scholar, expert, and educator. Go ahead.
Yep. So have you heard the argument that the 16th Amendment was never properly ratified?
No.
What?
Yeah, it was a fascinating argument, conversation going back and forth because there's some interesting points that are made by people that argue against the 16th Amendment never having been ratified.
So just to be clear, the 16th Amendment is allowing for the federal income tax. It was passed in 1913. Go ahead, Paul. Explain.
Well, it was ratified in 1913.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah. It was. Let's see. So the proper ratification of the 16th Amendment is disputed by what we call libertarians or tax protesters, who argue
Tom.
that the quoted text of the amendment differed from the text proposed by Congress, and that Ohio was not a state during ratification, despite its admission to the Union on March 1st, 1803. They've argued that because the 16th Amendment does not contain the words, quote, repeal or, quote, repealed, the amendment is ineffective to change the law. Others argue that due to the language in Stanton v. Baltic Mining Company, the income tax is an unconstitutional direct tax. Anyway, it was just a fascinating argument. It was something I wanted to tell you about, so you could maybe dig into it sometime and give us your thoughts on it, because it is a fascinating argument by libertarians that the 16th Amendment was not properly ratified. And as we had already talked about on the show years ago, that legally, if you never pay your taxes and don't ever set that precedent, there is not cause or case against you made by the IRS. They have to leave you alone, which is something most people are completely not aware of, which is
Nobody
fine.
knows. Yeah,
I'm not
it's
telling
weird.
people to do that, because if you do that, it's going to be real hard to get a car or a house.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm saying you don't have to pay your taxes, but I just found the argument interesting, because there were some things that were not done with regards to the 16th. They weren't done the way that they're supposed to be, but yet we still categorize it as ratified. So, but it's just an interesting thing. I know you might enjoy looking into.
It's been 100 years. I think that's going to be the argument if they were to actually go to court.
Well, the argument is that you as an individual, when you turned 16 and you paid taxes for the first time, that's what legally obligated you to pay taxes for the rest of your life. You set your own precedent.
So just like when I followed the speed limit, I set the precedent that I obey the law of the speed limits.
Well, kind of, but not really. So here's. I think, Tom, I'm not including you when I talk about libertarians in this conversation.
No.
Okay, so
You
I'm excluding
liar.
you. I'm excluding you from
He's
this
talking
conversation.
about me.
No.
Are you a libertarian?
I would say I land in that camp.
You lean, but you're not full-fledged, dyed-wool.
Well, on Facebook, they call it
Libertarian.
the classical liberal, which is libertarian.
Yeah.
You know,
I believe that people who want no taxes. I'm not talking about the people who want minimal taxes or who want reasonable taxes, who want accountability behind it. I'm not talking about all them. The people who believe they should pay no taxes are some of the most selfish dimwits I've ever heard of in my life. There is an expectation in a society that there are things that have to be done for the betterment of society that government has to do, and thus taxes have to be collected. You know, how do you pay your military? How do you pay for border security? Like, I don't think anybody argues that those are things that have to be paid for in this country. We can argue all day about the Department of Education or the EPA or the IRS or all those alphabet agencies, although the VA is fabulous. But if we just acknowledge that most people in this country believe our military members should be paid and that they should have quality, capable machinery, weapons, gear, and all of that costs money. How do you pay for that if you work under this idiotic libertarian idea that there should be no taxes? Where then do you ascertain the money? It can't come out of your ass because that's where the beads are. How do you pay for the things?
Did Lori
that
finally show you?
She brought a Walmart grocery bag in full of them. It's creepy. But it's how do you pay for the things that a functioning government requires?
How did we do it before we had income tax?
We had tariffs, which are taxes. I mean, you can call it what you want
to,
but
the basis of our Revolutionary War?
Taxation without representation.
Right. It wasn't even taxation. It was we're being taxed, but we're not even being represented in the process.
That's literally what I just said.
I know, but I'm clarifying that because some people will say, well, it was about taxes. It was never about taxes.
No, it was about
the fact
being represented.
Correct. And still being forced to pay into the share, right? So even our founding
not having
fathers,
to say.
Even our founding fathers, even the people that started the revolution understood that taxes themselves may not necessarily be a bad thing, but requiring people to pay into a system in which they have no input is a bad thing.
How much input do you? Well, I mean, we've got our vote.
Yes.
What? How much more input can we have?
Well,
I mean, we have our vote, and we have our I mean, I guess anyone can start an initiative. I don't know where that line of questioning was going. I had a thought and I had a question, and then it just sort of all went away.
But see, the issue that comes back on this, Tom, and I'll use you for the example, but it's not just you.
Sure.
But look at what happens with our taxes now. Or look at how much money they're taking from us. Look how little control we have. Look how we have no say. Look,
well, that's where the thought was going.
And all of that is true.
Yeah.
But none of that is an issue about whether or not we should pay taxes. It's about what happens after we collect said taxes, right? That's why I've never understood people that are pissed off at the IRS. The IRS is a mechanism put in place to collect taxes, but the end result is they're only enforcing the law for the most part. Don't ask about the conservative agenda that they had in the early 2000s. For the most part, they're just exercising laws that are issued by Congress.
Yeah, they're the messenger.
So your issue is not with taxes. Your issue is with how many taxes, where do the taxes go, why are they so much, like all of that stuff. Those are viable questions. But I return back to what I said before. If we accept there are things the federal government has to pay for, okay, you have to pay elected representatives to be in their position. Otherwise, no one will do it because there has to be money to pay people to show up to work every day. Why are you showing me things I'm in the middle of talking?
Because Foot Picks by Kiki just diversified.
Oh, they did. Foot Picks and Anal Beads by Kiki. All right. Wow. Anal bead cleaning solutions. Can we please make that into a commercial? Anyway, the point is that there are things that obviously
Lori
have
is
to be
definitely
paid for.
letting that side out.
I know we're learning way more about Lori than we had intended. There are certain things the federal government has to pay for. You cannot get around it. Even if you minimize the federal government as much as humanly possible, there are still things that has to be paid for. Even if the federal government is paying for pens and paper and copier toner.
But
internet access, keeping the lights on. There, some money has to be collected.
We import a lot of stuff. We should tax our imports. We can put more of that burden on business and less on the individual.
Yes, but what happens when
Although-
we tax our imports
Although,
and
Tom,
the countries we're importing? Sorry, Phil. And the people that we're importing from then put big ass taxes on the stuff we're exporting, which then makes our exported goods not as attractable, and they don't sell overseas because now we're in a tariff battle. Phil, go ahead.
I was going to say, and who pays the taxes that we try to levy on businesses? The consumer.
Well, the consumer,
Yeah.
certainly.
And I was going to say, really, I mean, the libertarian, at least in my perspective, tends to be like we have a principled belief. Although I would say I'll take the inches. Oh, bad choice of words, David.
Take the inches. Back to the beads.
I'll take the first down for the 10 yards. There we go. Football. To work our way towards that ideal. So, what can we do to reduce our tax burden? I mean, like right now we have, frankly, it's the Democrats and Republicans primarily fighting over who's going to increase our spending which way. It's all about increase. It's just really not a question of who doesn't increase it. It's just who gets their way. And they're going to shut down the government over it. Then you got someone like, a little more principled like a Rand Paul who's like, how about we actually make a balanced budget? How about we actually not increase?
Well, yeah, but again, you guys are. I'm telling you to look at your phone, Lori. I sent you a message. Again, all of this is whether or not we're collecting taxes too much, or whether or not we're structuring it correctly, or we're spending it wisely. Like I'll have that conversation all day long. Because our tax burden is overly obtuse. It's overly overwhelming for the average American taxpayer, let alone the average Washington State person who buys a gallon of a tank of gas. But the argument that there should be no taxes, that there should be no IRS, that there should be no accountability, we don't need to pay into the system for sidewalks or roads or the police or the military or border security, and we just want to keep 100% of our money because we don't need to pay into a civilized society because we're selfish a-holes. And that's all I hear. When they say that, all I hear is I'm a selfish a-hole.
Now, you do realize the solution proposed by libertarians who work through that argument is like, who's going to pay for the sidewalks? The property owners, because it's their property. They want to improve it and make it attractive to the people who are going to come to the development or wherever they developed. That's the argument.
Sure.
Now, I'm saying it's a principled position, and we're never going to get 100% there, but we still have the principle, and we can still aspire towards it. I realize we'll never get there.
Yeah. If I own a house, which I do, I actually own two. If I own a house, which I do, and you're going to tell me it's my option if I want to give up part of my yard for a sidewalk in front of my house, F you. I'm not putting a sidewalk in front of my house voluntarily. I'm just not going to. Why? Because it's an additional cost and maintenance and upkeep, and it makes it harder to mow the lawn.
Agreed.
So why would I do that?
What kind of sidewalk did you put?
Well, because there's always grass on the other side of the lawn, and then you put your fence up on the. You put your fence up on the sidewalk, on the house side of the sidewalk. So now you got to take your mower through the little gate in your fence and then go out and mow by the street and risk getting run over by some idiot driving an orange Mustang. And it's just insane.
It's grabber orange.
He just prefers to call it the rust stain.
The rust stain.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. But I'm just saying, like, this idea of anarchy that the libertarians want to put forward is insane.
Dude, for half a second, Kevin, I thought you were gonna. As soon as you said "and," I thought you were gonna follow it up with this idea of anal beads. I just swear I thought you were going that way.
The idea that we're just going to have anarchy and deregulate everything is insane because nothing would get done. If you deregulated everything, McDonald's would hire people and pay them $3 an hour.
Only if people would be willing to work.
But they would, because everybody else would cut wages too. Like everybody else's wages would go to crap. There'd be no minimum wage. They wouldn't pay minimum wage.
Remember, the minimum wage is just the minimum value you have to present to get a job.
Yeah, it's minimum wage. I think is ridiculous because it adds to the inflation issue that you were talking about earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm.
A no two people are worth the same, value. They have different experiences, they have different skill sets, etc., etc. Go out, build yourself up, and earn what you're worth. You don't need the government to tell you that.
And if you don't want to work there for the $3.18 an hour that they offer to pay you, tell them to kiss your backside and you get a job somewhere else.
Yes.
And employers will pay more if they, in fact, that's what fast food companies are doing now. Have you noticed that? Now that everything's gotten out of hand, they're fighting over how much they're going to pay. They're not even paying minimum wage, they're paying over it. The new Wendy's that opened in Bremerton on Kitsap Way is paying $18 an hour for fast freaking food.
So,
and it actually is fast.
For now.
Yeah. You bring up fast food. I was reading an article on the ferry ride home. And the
fact that you were riding on a ferry on the way home is amazing.
It was kind of amazing.
What was his name?
So, I think I was on the Click-a-Tat.
Hold that thought about your Click-a-Tat. We'll talk about this more after the break. We'll get to Tom's article and Lori's infatuation with
beads.
Back after this. Outlaw Radio. Remember, folks, a clean hole is a welcoming hole.
Which is why Bremerton's not welcoming.
That's right.
Because that place is a
nothing
dump.
Says I love you like a clean hole. All right.
I didn't wear my alien abduction shirt today. I
hope
should have
nobody-
worn my alien shirt.
I know you should have. Tell me about my bottle. I hope nobody from my church is listening to this show tonight. That's all I have to say. Because they might have armed security waiting for me out front come Sunday. Yeah, I'm doomed. Welcome to hell, K-Dog.
You just need to repent.
Oh, from what?
Oh, you know.
I don't think I need to repent from any of this.
Oh, yeah?
I think Jesus has a tremendous sense of humor. I really do. I don't think Jesus is as uptight as people in the religious leadership would think that he is. I think he tells jokes. I think he laughs. I think he's funny. I think he's fun. I think he's loving and all that other good stuff. But I don't think he's uptight and like, oh, you can't joke about that. You can joke about everything. Because if you don't joke about it, you give it power, and I'm not giving it power.
Can you imagine growing up, though, being the brother of Jesus? Your mom's like, why can't you be more like your brother? Oh, great. We all can't be perfect. Like
Sam Kennison told a joke about Jesus. He said, well, you know that Jesus wasn't married. I know that Paul believes Jesus was married, but Sam Kennison said, you know that Jesus wasn't married because no wife lets her husband leave for 3 fucking days. Where have you been? I was out with my disciples. They're losers. There are 12 people that won't get a job, and we just put them up and feed them. Anyway,
of course, you know one of the first miracles they found after Jesus' resurrection, right?
What's that?
A man who folded his clothes.
That's true. He did. He folded his clothes and left him in the tomb. That's how they knew he was a man of God, because he actually folded his laundry. I need a wife to fold my clothes.
Why? Just go buy some extra sets of anal beads, Kevin. Give them out as gifts. You'll find the right woman.
Oh my God, that's great. That's a great idea.
Just do what I did when I was a bachelor.
I think we should
2 laundry baskets.
I think one of us needs to go to Castle and Silverdale, buy a set of anal beads, and then tie them to Paul's trailer hitch on the back of his Mustang, and just let him drive down the road with him dangling.
You know he's listening right now.
Hold on. Did anybody else just listen, Kevin? There's no trailer hitch on a Mustang, dude.
I would be amazed if you didn't have a trailer hitch on your Mustang, Paul. I know you. I'd be amazed if you didn't have a trailer hitch back there.
God.
I would be amazed.
You need help. And a girlfriend.
Probably. Anal beads. Back after this. Outlaw Radio. For the next half an hour, we're going to try our best not to talk about Lori's big fetish. We're just going to leave that alone.
I could totally see hers being like bronzed and stuff.
What's that? Say that again?
Here she is trying to eat her meal, and she's just losing it.
She's eating something.
Wouldn't those beads be cold if they were bronzed?
Taco salad, Paul.
They might be.
Oh,
but
now
she
she's
could,
talking about a
put them in the
salad.
freezer.
Someone
If you're into tossing salad, that's cool, but it's not my thing. But I won't judge you.
God bless it. I don't even understand you, Lori. We're seeing so much out of you tonight that we never thought we'd know before. Anal beads, getting her salad tossed.
It's just breaking your image of me, huh?
By the way, they're in the top of the 6th inning. The Houston Astros lead the Mariners 4-3.
This is what happens when Boss Baby's out of town. And
Oh my God! Clearly,
Boss Baby's always out of town.
she's in Tacoma. Oh, sorry, she's in Point Defiance. All right. You were talking about an article that you read.
Yes.
On the heterosexually challenged ferry.
Yes.
Boat. Yeah.
It was just one of those little stupid blurb articles or whatever, but it kind of puts things in perspective for you. The author of the article was talking about how he or she had been helping mom clean out the garage or something. And they found a Burger King receipt from 1986. And so they were talking about the cost of fast food in 86 versus now. And, this particular receipt was dinner for a family of 4.
Okay.
So it was 4 burgers, 4 orders of fries, 4 soft drinks. And it was like $8.64 for the whole order.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
It was like $8.64 or something. It was less than $10. And they fed a family of 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it was, drive-by food.
But they were also making $1.18 an hour, and you know what I mean. It was still, you know what I mean. It's all relative.
It is
$3.35 an hour. I remember.
Okay, but I'm just saying it's all relative. I mean, the cost went up, but their pay went up accordingly. Like
that's where I think you're mistaken. Accordingly, I mean, if we were to sit down and do the math and figure it out, how much I haven't bought fast food in literally years because
it's a stupid amount of money.
But the article I was reading was saying, a Whopper is like $8 or $9 or something now.
To get a Whopper meal with the drink,
like
plan on $15.
Yeah.
Okay. That is not in line with the cost of a fast food meal is not in line with the raising of the costs of everything else. It just seems to have kind of gotten away from what it was meant to be, which was a convenient, quick meal.
Well, that's because they quit making they quit making fast food as fast food, though. I mean, if you look at McDonald's now, McDonald's is not trying to make fast food anymore.
No, they got
if you want fast food, you go. I mean, if you want cheap fast food, you go to Crazy Eric's.
I like
it's
Crazy Eric's.
I do too, but it is a cheap bun, a cheap burger, and a cheap piece of cheese.
Where's that at?
And they charge you for the
over on National in Bremerton.
Okay.
Oh, they're great.
Good to know.
Their lines are awful though. If you go there and order, you can get 6 cheeseburgers for less than $7.
What?
Yeah, but they're cheap little cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Oh, but
they're good.
Yeah, they're great. Back in the day when I used to do a lot of mountain biking, there was a Crazy Eric's there in Belfair.
Yeah,
we'd go up
and Taco Bell now.
Yeah, we'd go up and ride and get a good workout in, get all muddy and filthy and disgusting, and then we'd go by Crazy Eric's. You get a bag of burgers for $2.
Yeah.
And we'd sit on the tailgate of our truck, scraping mud off and eating cheap burgers.
Yeah, you can get a bag of hot dogs for less than 6 hot dogs for less than $7. 6 tortilla dogs for less than $7.
Good to know.
Now, would you say the Dick Burgers in Seattle is fast food?
No.
Wow.
Dude.
So anal beads to Laura. Oh, this is getting out of hand. I haven't had
Phil's
Dick's.
eating dicks.
I haven't had. In all seriousness, I haven't had Dick's in a long time. So I don't know what their price is. Did Paul shut
it's
up?
It's like $3.50 for a hamburger.
I don't know what it is.
So what Kevin's saying is it's been a while since he had a bag of dicks. Got it.
Yeah.
I was trying to stay on your topic that you brought up to respect the fact that you brought up a topic and then you veered off into evil deceit land. You're going to hell too.
I'll repent too.
I'll see you in hell.
Hey, let me say this. Hey, speaking of a bag
In-N-Out
of dicks,
In-N-Out is relatively inexpensive as well, comparatively speaking. Go ahead.
Well, it depends on what happens 9 months later if the swelling's bad or not.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know what to do with you guys. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna do a show.
Is there an In-N-Out here in Washington?
No.
No.
You gotta go to
Oregon.
Yeah, it's on Callow.
No, it's called Elmo's.
Is there still an adult movie theater on Callow?
The building's still there.
That unmarked building across from Elmo's?
It's funny you mentioned it. So I remember as a late teen.
Choose your next words carefully, Phil.
It's a story. I remember hey, trying to find a place to go see a movie. I was like, well, there's this one theater. Nobody ever talks about going here. What is this place? And a friend of mine's like, yeah, it's the such and such place. Like, oh,
Is it? Does it still? Is it still there?
Well, the building's still
I mean,
there.
I lived on Callow for.
There's still sailors coming and going. You know?
I lived on Callow for 20 years.
More than that coming and going.
Not, I don't know, probably 7 blocks from that, right?
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody walk in that door or walk out that door. And I've driven past that building probably 100,000 times.
I don't know if it's still open. I mean, I remember when Lenny used to run the place. He passed
Lenny.
away. Lenny Noble. He passed away many years ago.
So Phil's like, I know what they do there, but I don't know what they do there. And
That's
I
right.
I have awareness now.
We should all go there and prophesy. We should do a live broadcast from on the sidewalk out in front.
Oh, see, I thought that was Emily Randall's office. I didn't.
Wow.
No. Even the theater has standards.
I got
So, did you guys hear? Since we're talking about dicks and In-N-Out burgers, the Congressional Oversight Committee.
Oh, someone's getting their salad tossed.
Released. Like I said, dude, whatever Lori is into is fine. She's an adult, okay?
That's why she's not on camera. That's why she's not on camera.
Yeah, quick kink shaming.
Sorry, Holly. Didn't mean to be elitist. Go ahead, Paul.
So again, since we're speaking of dicks, the Congressional Oversight Committee today released some fascinating information because we've talked quite a bit about the supposed money that the Biden family was getting from Ukraine, China, and other locations. So have you guys ever sent wire transfers? You know how wire transfers work?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're sending it to somebody, you have to put them down as the beneficiary, put their address and everything else down, right? Mm-hmm. So turns out, now remember, in 2020, Joe Biden told the American people that his family, and I quote, never received money from China. We've already proved that to be a lie. That's what Joe Biden said. I'm quoting him, okay? Mm-hmm. Today, the Oversight Committee released documents showing that, in point of fact, and it was GOP rep James Comer, by the way, who subpoenaed and obtained the bank wires, revealing that Hunter Biden had received payments from Chinese nationals that were sent to, guess where? That's right, Joe Biden's house. Joe Biden's address was the beneficiary of the payments from China.
That's amazing.
I don't think he's long for this presidency, guys, because I think the walls are really starting to close in as far as taking the bribes and the payments. But
do you think Democrats will turn on him? Because that's what has to happen if this goes to the Senate. I do. The House can impeach him all they want to, but then it goes to the Senate, and if the Democrats in the Senate don't turn on him, then he'll just ride this sumbitch out.
So a couple of things have happened. One, you have the indictment for bribery of Democratic Congressman. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. He has a Latino name.
I read about that today.
Okay.
Menendez.
Yeah.
So Menendez, thank you. So he's been indicted, and his wife, on bribery.
Prep for the show.
So the Democrats are already calling for him to resign. This is before he's even gone to court. And I'm a big proponent, man. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Of course, when the money's sent to your house and the records are made public, that's a tough one to defend yourself against. Right?
Him and his wife are going to jail.
So that's okay. Tonight during the debate, you had a couple of Republicans point out that the most powerful union in the United States is the teachers union. And they pointed out how the president of the United States is actively and openly sleeping with a member of the teachers union. Therefore, he was never gonna push back against the teachers union. I thought that was pretty funny. Because how could Joe Biden push back against anything, really? It's I don't know. I think this is bad. I think the Democrats are going to start turning on him because they're going to realize he's not going to willingly step down in running for president. And the more underwater his numbers get, the more they're going to look to have him, gracefully step down and get out of the way. And he's made it very clear he's not willing to do that. So I think that the Democrats are going to have to go after him. Now, whether they do that in suits and ties or track suits remains to be seen, thanks to I Dress Like a Slob Fetterman, who has actually gotten Congress to change its rules and how they apply.
No, that actually got fixed today.
Oh, did it?
Today, they unanimously passed a formal dress code in the Senate.
Yes.
God bless them and thank you for that. I couldn't believe that they were going to let that go through, because to me, it's just so disrespectful to the position in the office. If you make it to that point, you're elected to that office, there is no excuse for not dressing the part and not having the respect for the office to dress appropriately. I was just blown away by that. Good for them.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah, of course.
Like I don't disagree with you that the whole issue with the dress code needed to be addressed and needed to be fixed. But we're on the verge of a federal government shutdown, and they're arguing about who's wearing sweats to the Senate. Like, at some point, it just seems tone deaf.
Well, I would say this, Kevin. I expect our legislators to be able to walk and chew gum.
I do too, but I'm just saying, at some point it feels tone deaf that they would even push this. You had conservatives going in there wearing completely inappropriate clothing because they were offended that the dress code had been changed, and they were trying to push for a resolution, which I totally understand. But couldn't that have waited until after the start of the new fiscal year while they focused their attention on the main thing that had to be passed, which is a spending bill to avert a government shutdown?
I think you have a valid point, but then again, we all did get to see on night vision cameras Rep Boebert getting groped. So, I mean, all kinds of cool stuff's happening right now.
What did you think about that, by the way?
I didn't really care. I thought it was very typical Washington, D.C.-ish, right? She's a congresswoman and she preaches her party's line and her party's values. And people on the left hate her for it. So here you have a woman that's going through a divorce, had a very contentious last couple of years of her marriage. She's going out and having fun and on a date. And she was carried away, but she was in a dark theater, man. Like, who expects... Like, Kevin, can you honestly tell me that you've never gone in someplace dark with a chick and thought to yourself, gee, I hope there's no night vision cameras on me?
But here's the problem, right? Boebert has kind of placed herself front and center as a moral voice, right?
Has she?
And I think if that video surfaced of two men in a movie theater doing the exact same thing, I believe Boebert would be one of the first people to speak up how disgusting it is that people would do that in a public place and blah, 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 blah.
I suppose you would have to find a quote by Lauren Boebert. I don't follow her that closely, so there may be lots of them out there. But I'm just going to say this. You would have to find a quote of something she said that would make me go, geez, that's really hypocritical, lady. Because I don't know of any quotes that she said. None have been brought up. You said she's put herself out there as a moral authority on stuff. I've never heard her do that. I've heard her go off on issues with regards to morality and, like abortion and stuff like that. But I've never heard her say anything about how you should never get kissed in public. You should never let some dude touch your breasts. You shouldn't stick your hand in his crotch when you're all turned on and horny in a dark movie theater. Like, I've never heard her say anything like that. So I guess I don't understand where that criticism is coming from. And to be honest with you, I think that criticism is more of just people wanting something to throw stones at her over because they don't like her politics.
There's a couple things, though, with respect to that. She was at a play or a musical play.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
The other part of it was that she was also vaping in the dark.
Yes, I heard that too.
Yeah.
Because the rules don't apply to her.
Yeah.
because she to me represents what's wrong with elected representatives. The rules don't apply to her.
How? I
Well, first of all, you can't vape in a movie theater. It's against the law. Period.
It
It's
is?
against the law. Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
I've
Yes.
never heard that it was against the law. I mean, it's vaping is water vapor.
But you can't vape indoors. You can't vape in public spaces.
Well, I don't vape, so I didn't know that. So it really wasn't something that I cared one way or another about. But again, I mean, you're looking at that one incident going, she thinks she's better than everybody else and the rules don't apply to her. You know, I'm not defending her or picking on her. I don't follow her. She's not my representative, right? But I see this a lot by people. Like they just jump on the bandwagon. I don't like Lauren Boebert or whoever, right? And they just jump on it and then they find stuff to complain about. And I don't think any of that makes anything any better in this country. It just adds to the freaking hatred. It adds to the mudslinging. You know, it's not like she was out there doing blow with a hooker, recording herself on a laptop and taking bribes from a foreign country. You know, I mean,
Whatever are you talking about?
Well, and he was a private citizen, Paul.
wait,
But
Tom,
no, I
you
see your point.
really don't know, do you?
No, I was being a wise guy.
Oh God, you did that so well. I
thank
totally
you.
thought you were oblivious. Yeah.
No, no, you were talking about Hunter. I know what you were talking about.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, that's all, Kevin. I get your point. If you've got things to back that up, where you can say she did this, this, and that, or she said these things, you know, I'll totally give you props for that. I just haven't seen them. She gave people a reason to attack her, and I haven't seen anybody coming out with quotes that she's made or anything else. Like she vaped. Okay, she vaped. So what? You know, on the video that they show, some people said that they said you could see her vaping. Okay, well, I didn't see that, but you know, I'll give everybody else the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, you could see, you know, they're two consenting adults. Are you going to say that him touching her and her touching him was inappropriate? Do you want to go down that road? Because
I think
how many people could say that they've never done that stuff?
But here's the difference, though. She has put herself front and forward as a moral leader. She is worried
is that
about
you saying that, Kevin? What do you support that
go
with?
go look at her comments about gays and lesbians and LGBTQ and trans and that whole thing.
Hold on.
About what's good for our children and what's good for our children, what's best for society, and you know, she's elevated herself as somebody who's going to speak about the moral fabric of what is important in our country. Okay, fine. She has the right to believe what she believes. I don't knock that. But if you're going to take that stand, then you better be above reproach yourself. Like, you better not be doing stupid ass things to draw negative attention to yourself for the type of thing that you'd rip anybody else for doing. I'm not asking her to be perfect. But
it sounds like you are.
No, I'm not. But listen, if you're a pastor and you're ministering about the importance of honoring your marital vows, you don't go screw around with a prostitute. If you're an elected representative talking about if you're an elected representative talking about what kids should or shouldn't be around or what they shouldn't be exposed to, and you're in a movie theater giving your hubby a hand job and there's children in the movie theater, well, you're probably out of bounds. I don't know why this is hard.
They did say it was an all ages show, but I didn't see any kids sitting around them.
And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't matter if there were kids in there or not. If it was an all ages show, she's an adult. She should assume. This is an all ages movie. There might be a kid in here. I probably shouldn't be giving my husband a handy. And by the way, you should be.
He was a date.
Or whomever it was. And by the way, you should be offended even more, because if you or I got caught doing that, we'd be faced with charges and maybe prosecuted as a sex offender for doing something sexual in public. But she's Boebert. Not only is she not brought up in any charges, but she's got half a political party sticking up for her. That's gross. And the fact
sexual. Why are you sexual?
She gave him a handy.
No, she didn't.
She gave him a handy.
No, she didn't.
She touched him.
She just put her hand in his groin area. That's like giving some dude a hand job. There's a big difference,
Gave him
dude.
a handy. Look, if you or I, Paul, if you or I did that at the C Film in Bremerton,
Kevin, I don't for one second.
the cops
think
would
that
have
in your
shown up if
lifetime
we got
you've never
caught
been
doing that.
involved in something that.
But I'm not portraying my. In fact, I'm the exact opposite.
Kevin's
I am
like,
not
I
a
do that
moral
stuff all the
example for
time.
anyone to follow. I am not an example. Do not point me out to your kids and say, do what he does. In fact, point me out to your kids and say, see what he's doing? Do the exact opposite.
Kevin's like, I played with Lori Zainal beads. I get it, Kevin. I get it. I guess what I'm.
She has them all laid out on the floor, displayed for us to see. Some of them are pretty worn.
Can you describe them, Daddy?
Some of them are. I hate you. God,
Thank you, Paul.
Some of them are pretty worn. I hate you, Paul. That whole daddy thing, man. Please don't. Like, I can forgive a lot of crap you do, but that just makes me so angry on the inside. I swear to God.
Be okay if I called you cuz?
That doesn't bug me.
Okay.
But the whole daddy.
I wasn't going to
thing,
call
oh
you
my
cuz
God.
anyway, but
that's just.
It doesn't feel right calling your dad cuz. It just doesn't.
So gross. So wrong, Paul. I hate you so bad.
It's Lori's fault. She started
Hope
it.
you die in a fire.
I didn't start the whole daddy thing.
So it's okay, Lori.
Yeah.
Look over at Kevin. Look him straight in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And just repeat after me.
Don't you do it,
No.
Paul. Don't you do it. I swear to God.
Come on, Lori.
Sure, Paul.
By the way, J. Andrew
look at
Kennedy said
Kevin.
in chat. J. Andrew
Just look
Kennedy
at Kevin
don't
and
do
say,
it.
"How you doing?"
J. Andrew Kennedy said in chat, Kevin may be truly offended. How dare you? I do not allow women to touch me. Well, that's not true. I have too many kids for that. Corey said Kevin's just jealous he didn't get a handy. No, I'll take a handy from Lauren Boebert any day of the week. She's a good looking girl. She's a good looking girl, but I am not running on some ticket of moral authority. She's awful. She's just awful. She's like MTG.
Kevin's
Marty
like,
Taylor Greene.
this girl
just
is
awful.
awful. I'll take a handy from her any day, though. But she's awful. She's terrible. She's a tragic figure. I don't know
She
nothing
is,
to do with
but
her.
she's cute.
But,
Listen, I can put up with her for 37 minutes. And
You
that
can put up
includes the
with her
amount of time
calling
it
you-
takes to drive through the drive-through. Okay, so
37
You could put
minutes.
up with her calling you daddy, couldn't you?
no, stop that. That's gross, man. Oh my God.
I'm
it's
sorry. I
so
won't do that
wrong.
again. I won't. do
Philip,
that
where are you going?
He needs to take care of business.
Did we offend him?
No.
He's not mad at us
No,
for
no,
right.
something else.
just
Come
making
on.
sure. Paul, I hate you. J. Andrew Kennedy says Paul's glasses look like he's about to guide a late 1980s, early 1990s skateboarding video.
Yeah, these are actually safety glasses. They're my work glasses.
Sure they are.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
I know Lori has to
even
wear those when she has the
bifocals.
beads out.
Well, that and a mask got to protect her face from splatter.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Spray. It's a
No,
biohazard.
you're supposed to pull the beads out slow, as I'm told.
They're like,
There
Lori,
should
why are
be
you
no
wearing a mask?
spray.
COVID? Yeah, COVID. All right.
You're
We're gonna end on time tonight. I think.
So
we're-
going straight down. Oh my god.
Oh, I was going to say you're not supposed to start a chainsaw when you pull the beads out. You go slow.
So wrong, dude. This episode will forever be known as the beads episode. J. Andrew Kennedy said, "Nope, ripcord." I don't even know how you people know all about this stuff. I draw the line in places.
Memes. I read memes. That's
Sure
it.
you
Yeah,
do.
Yeah,
So
that's
do I.
it.
Sure you do. Heather, call in, Heather.
Oh no.
Heather, call in. Tom's wife should call in. Give us some hints.
Kevin, I got a. We've talked before. You're always looking for good shows to watch, movies, TV shows. I started
Please
watching
don't.
one
Okay.
that I have enjoyed more than probably any show I've ever watched, and it's
What's
totally
that?
different than all of the movies and series that I've watched in the past.
Oh no, this is bad.
No, seriously, dude, you would really like it. It's on Apple Plus, Apple TV, and it it is this show is all about like positivity and second chances. There's 3 seasons of it.
What
It's
is it
called Joe Lasso or
Ted
Ted
Lasso.
Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Oh,
Yeah.
the football coach who becomes a coach. I watched one episode on a flight. They had 3 episodes on the flight.
It is such an original, really unique, completely different kind of series. I am just so impressed by it. Because it's not, you know how like all TV shows kind of have the same formula they use every freaking episode, right? This does not use any of those formulas. Like everything in this show, in every episode, has been about positivity, and even the episode where he gets a divorce from his wife. I mean, it like all of it. And
What
it's
could
just,
be more positive than getting rid of the dead weight?
well, where he goes and has an epiphany that he loves his wife and he wants her to be happy, so he knows he has to let her go. But all these other shows that do it, they twist it into a real gut-wrenching, sorrowful, feel bad for the character kind of stuff. And he totally flips it on its axis and goes about it a different way. I'm just saying it's an amazing show, and if you want something really refreshing to watch, it is definitely worth it.
Can I give you a good show to watch, Paul, when you're done with that? If you have Amazon, there's a show on Amazon called Bosch.
Yes.
He's an LA homicide detective.
Uh-huh.
And at first I wasn't sure because it's one of those little darker, a little rougher shows. But I'm up to season
Like
3
Anal
now,
Beads?
or season 4. And it's actually a pretty good show. If you get a chance to watch it, I'd watch it.
Boss
Bosch is
Baby,
good.
are you listening?
And
Bosch
Reacher,
Baby.
season 1 of Reacher was good too.
Oh,
I've seen Reacher. I was thinking I might watch that one.
So watch Reacher. It is, if you like the Tom Cruise version of Reacher, you won't like this show. But if you like the kind of, this is based off the original Reacher books, then it's much closer to that. It's actually really well done. And season 2 is supposed to be coming out soon.
What platforms Reacher on?
Reacher's on Amazon.
Okay.
You don't have Amazon?
I do have Amazon.
Okay.
I seldom go there for movies or shows, and I don't know why. I just, I usually dig around in Hulu because that's where all the live sports are.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I don't.
You pay for Hulu for live sports? How much is that a month?
I do. I get it. It's about $86 a month.
Good God.
Really?
But see, that's the problem, right? If you pay for all the streaming platforms you want to get so you can watch all the shows you want to get, you're paying more than you're paying for cable.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
you don't need cable.
But that's what I'm saying. You would pay more than if you just had cable.
Yeah, cable would be cheaper is what he's getting at.
Because I'd have to pay for that. I got to pay for Peacock. I got to pay for Netflix. I got to pay for Hulu.
What's the first rule of Netflix?
Share?
Passwords.
I said that's what we do. We have a lot of password sharing.
Oh, Dennis got the right bump going. All right, we're going to do parting shots on the flip side. For those of you on AIM, we'll see you at 8 p.m. on Sunday. For those of you on Facebook, we're not done with you yet. Stay right there with your beads. Must be strong and brave. Our home we've got to save. If we don't, in just 1 year, Mother Earth will disappear.
Yep, we'll just wake up one morning, she'll be freaking gone.
We will stop until we won, then we'll return. And when we arrive, the Earth will survive with our star blazers. Tom,
I may look like my daddy, but I have my mommy's breasts. Oh, that's a cool t-shirt.
Tom, you look at me like you don't recognize that song.
Oh, I recognize the song. I'm surprised you know all the words.
Oh my God, I love that show. All 3 seasons of it. Yeah, I've got it on digital at the house.
Huh?
I won't say I pirated that, but I pirated that.
You just said that twice.
Yeah. Tracy says you can't see everything on cable anymore. You can't, but here's the problem. I like way too many shows that I can watch on cable. And so if I was going to not watch those shows anymore, then I would have to replace cable with streaming services. So I'd have to get Hulu for live sports because I got to watch my live sports. Okay.
Yep.
Then I would have to
watch
get
it on YouTube.
but then I'm going to have to pay for YouTube.
I know, but it's cheaper than Hulu.
Okay,
Live.
fine. So YouTube.
They're both about $80 a
Both
month
about-
for
okay.
live.
They're both the same.
Yeah, so
Pretty much.
so we get that, and then I gotta get Paramount because I want to be able to watch my Yellowstone stuff, and then I gotta get and all my other CBS stuff. Then I gotta get the Peacock, and I gotta pay for Peacock because there's shows on Peacock that I like to watch,
I have to update my Peacock episode or subscription with my debit card.
and then I gotta get Fox. And I love to watch shows on Fox. There's so many good shows on Fox I like to watch, and then I'm probably gonna have to get ABC, so I might as well get Hulu. And before you know it, like right now, what I pay for my cable TV and home phone, before you fuckers laugh at me for having a home phone, my mom doesn't exist without a home phone. So I pay $200 a month for my cable TV and home phone because we have like 8 TVs in the house between what mom has downstairs and what we have upstairs. So I'm basically because I'm basically funneling, and I got a TV in my bathroom with a cable box. Come on, stop it, so I can lay in my bathroom. I might even do that tonight. Go home and sit in my soaker tub and watch my TV. Well, at least it'll be clean. At least it'll be clean, you whack job. Anyway, so I pay. I think I pay $188 a month for my.
At least she didn't call him daddy.
For my full package. I fucking hate you. I pay $188 for my full package. But if I do that, then I lose everything else, or I pay more. And I don't want to pay more.
I pay $70 a month.
Yeah, you just find some people.
But you can't watch NCIS.
Yeah, I can.
The recent episodes.
Yeah.
On YouTube TV.
Yeah.
YouTube has it.
Yes.
Really.
And if YouTube doesn't, Hulu does.
But then I'd have to pay for Hulu.
No, I mean Hulu Live TV, because there's 2 different Hulu subscriptions you can get. There's multiple subscriptions. You can get Hulu with Live TV, and it's like $80 a month or whatever, but it has your ABC, CBS, NBC, blah, all the alphabet soup.
We'll talk about this.
All your Heather. All your sports, all your news.
Yes, Heather, it's called Peacock. 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 Peacock.
And anal beads.
Anyway, I'm not even going to repeat what J. Andrew Kennedy says. That's gross, dude. It's not even cool. That's awful. All right. Dennis, we have a stranger in studio behind you.
You guys mind setting on?
Oh, okay.
I got it.
All right. Some guy from the mall.
Hey, Robert.
It was either a mall guy or somebody coming in to rob us, and boy, he'd be disappointed. All right, so we're going to handle some radio business because Paul, what do you have in your hand? What is that? A katana sword?
Peacock.
It's a peacock. I'm going to be late to the show Sunday if I'm here at all. Okay. I was gifted tickets to a big major sporting event on Sunday in Seattle that starts at 4.
Are you going to tell us what event?
But I don't think with ferry schedules. I'm not sure how it's going to work with the ferry schedules.
You're not going to make it back in time.
What game?
I didn't say it was a game. AEW is having a major wrestling pay-per-view in Seattle at Climate Pledge Arena. Mm-hmm. And when I had agreed to go, I thought it was for the show on Saturday, which was their weekly show, but it's the pay-per-view on Sunday. So I will be late.
Which ferry are you trying to take?
You won't make it back.
I don't know. It starts at 4.
Yeah, you won't make it back.
I don't know.
I do.
If it's out at 8,
you won't make it back.
You won't make it back. The last
I'll call in by video. Just make sure I get a video link. I'll call in when I can.
The closest boat to that like 10:35.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it on the phone with this new system. Okay. That's why we moved to StreamYard.
Okay. I still need a program that I can download that from because I still can't download it.
All right. We'll talk about that off air. Paul, do you have any? Actually, we'll do you last. Fucking whack job. Dennis, do you have any parting shots for tonight's listenership?
Dude, did you just swear on AM radio?
No, we're on Facebook.
Facebook radio.
On Facebook, you idiot. Learn to read a clock. Every clock in Paul's house is digital because he doesn't know what the
Screw you, asshole. I'm Polish.
Hey, you know how you knew it was time for bed at Michael Jackson's house? The big hand had touched the little hand. All right. Dennis, do you have any parting shots?
I thought he was going to say it's because you heard a man in the distance calling, Daddy, Daddy.
Cooperate for kids.
Daddy.
Anything else, Dennis?
That's it.
Right.
Daddy.
Hey, I was listening to sports radio today.
Daddy.
And they were talking about your Chargers, Dennis.
Yeah.
And they said they love your quarterback and they hate your head coach.
Yeah, that's kind of a
I have heard Dennis share that very sentiment many times. A frustrated Dennis.
Yes. Because he's starting to be very reminiscent of Norv Turner, the dumpster fire that he was. Here, let's take a talented playoff team
and ruin it.
Destroy it. And then we're going to go for it on 4th down. Deep in our own territory.
You guys are still making the playoffs. You watch. So 4 gay guys are sitting in a jacuzzi. All of a sudden, there's a condom. All of a sudden, a condom starts floating on top of the water. One of the guys says,
"Somebody else, Daddy."
All right, who farted?
Damn, dude.
Lori, party shot.
Oh my gosh! Educate yourself so you're prepared to vote accordingly. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Say that again right in the microphone because it was very hard to hear you.
Educate yourself so you can vote according to your desires.
Fair enough. Every time anybody gives a party shot, I'm going to give a joke.
Understanding.
All right, fair enough. Here's a joke for you. What's better than winning the gold medal at the Special Olympics? Having both arms and legs.
Oh.
I think that's the Paralympics. Come on.
Oh, I have a really bad one next. Alex. Who the fuck is Alex?
I don't know.
My God.
I actually don't know any Alexes.
I was going to ask your son to say something, and for some reason I called him Alex. I don't know.
Oh, that you're right. I do
Isaac,
know an Alex.
Isaac, do you have any parting shots to say?
Not really.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's going to be rare for me to come in on Sundays now.
Why?
Because it's just really 3 hours long.
It's actually closer to 3.5, but I get your point. All right.
But it's really long on Sundays, and I don't know what to do or say.
Okay, well,
that's it.
You're more than welcome to come whenever you want. Here's my other joke. What is the difference between Jesus and a picture of Jesus? It only takes one nail to hang a picture of Jesus.
Wow. I've heard that one.
Okay.
So
I got
bad.
another one ready to go. Tom, what's your parting shot?
Well, I think everyone knows, I just turned the big 5-0.
Congratulations.
And, yay, I made it. I never thought I'd make it this far.
Half a century, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what that means? Tom, do you know what it means? You're too old to be daddy.
Oh,
I hate you, Paul. Why do you keep doing that?
I said it to Tom. Jeez, Kev. Not everything has to revolve around you, okay?
I hate you. Absolutely.
Daddy.
I hate you.
Anyways, I just wanted to thank my missus and my son and my roommate and the rest of my family. Surprise parties never work on me. Never. Someone always screws up and says something, or I walk into a room and go, "Hey, what you doing?" Or what? They got me. They got me so good, and I had a fantastic 50th, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that was involved in planning that. It was really fun.
It was all my idea. Here's
all your idea.
Here's your joke, Tom. You ready?
Hit me.
What's the difference between acne and a Catholic priest? Acne usually comes on a boy's face after he turns 12.
Yeah. I have that joke saved as a meme.
Really?
And yeah.
Well, so you've heard that one before?
I've heard that one before.
I
Yeah.
got to find you another one then.
Okay. Yeah.
Paul, what's your parting shots, my friend?
There are worse things in the world than people calling you daddy. And we all just have to remember that because we all have kids.
Yeah, but Paul, I'm kind of partial to Poppy.
Poppy,
I'm okay with because it's not a word I've used in my vernacular with my children. So Poppy is. I mean, I know what it means, but it
wait, hold on. So you get all upset sideways because you let your kids call you daddy, and that upsets you. I'm trying to figure this out here.
Because you guys want to use it in like sexual instances, like daddy in a sexual way. That's just weird.
I don't mean that at all. Where are you getting that from? You're right. You're weird, dude.
Well, that's exactly what I mean about I like Poppy.
Hey, Paul. Paul, this is an old joke that most of our listeners won't get. I think you would, though. What kind of wood doesn't float? Natalie
Wood.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Paul, continue.
No, I'm all done.
That's
I'm
all
all
you
done.
had? That was your entire parting shot?
There's just something weird about having a show and, Lori's polishing anal beads. You're getting all frustrated being called daddy. Tom's over here talking about his 50th birthday party like it's the second coming of Jesus. And it's just...
It was.
I believe you,
I'm
Tom.
here.
I believe you. The older you get, the easier it becomes to be satisfied. Like, for some people, it's just a matter of seconds, right? Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Polish sex manual, in, out, repeat if necessary. Like, I get it.
Tab A, slot B, yeah.
If necessary.
If necessary. You ever seen a
Andrew
book
Kennedy
of Polish
said-
war heroes? Tom, you ever seen a book of Polish war heroes?
There's not one.
I have not.
That's right. There isn't one.
One of my favorite books by Leon Uris, though, it has a
What'd you call me?
Leon Uris is an author.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, he wrote a book about the World War II ghettos in Warsaw, Poland, and there's a really cool Polish character. Well, obviously, it's in Warsaw, but there's a really cool character in one of his books I like. He was an Italian, or he was a lieutenant in the Polish army, and was one of those crazy guys that charged tanks on this horse.
Well, could have been about my great uncle then, because that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and he did it more than once.
Oh, he survived. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't have guessed anybody made more than one charge. So,
Oh no, he did it more than once to more than one tank.
All right.
that had
Last
to
joke
be
and then
science fiction.
last joke and then my parting shots. Why didn't Barbie get pregnant? Because Ken came in a different box. All right. We'll see you guys on Sunday. I'll call in when I can. I'll join by video, probably from the mean streets of Seattle. In fact, Paul, it might be fun. I'll turn the video camera in downtown Seattle on and show you guys what we're seeing.
Oh, do you want me to do that when I go back over?
Well, I'm going to call in from Seattle on Sunday.
Why? I can get footage while I'm working in Seattle if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I guess it's hard to share if it's not in real time live. Yeah, never mind.
You can post it to the page.
I could, yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody. We love you guys. Outlaw Radio. We'll see you Sunday, 8 p.m. Frank Aquila will be joining us on Sunday too, by the way. Yeah, I saw that.
Don't forget to order now.
Yeah, we'll have Frank Aquila on Sunday at 8 o'clock. And we'll see if there's a government shutdown.
Are we discussing dental insurance?
Iron Man is a hero. Iron Woman is just a command.
Oh!
Iron Woman! Good night, everybody.